new, and we renew a rivalry today on Fox. The Washington Redskins, the Dallas Cowboys. The Redskins riding a 3-game losing streak. The Dallas Cowboys come in on top of the NFC East with a record of 5-2. But coming off a shutout down in Tampa, Florida. Bill Parcells. He has said the season begins now. 4 of the next 5 are here at home for the Dallas Cowboys. And his career against the NFC East. So far with his new position, 2-0 as head coach of the Cowboys. And there's Steve Spurrier. Where do you begin to talk about what's going on with the Washington Redskins and his career against the NFC East 1-7? Glad you're with us. Cowboys won the toss. They received. Derek Ross from the goal line. Derek Ross out to the 35. Penalty flag on the return as Ross is into the open field. He is gone down the sideline into the end zone, but there is a flag on the play. All the way back at the 33-yard line. And it is coming back. A 100-yard return is erased because of this penalty.
I tell you what, there was a crushing double-team block to set that thing up, and Derek Ross just took it right behind there. But for Bill Parcells, they had a chance to explode on the scene, and now they're backed all the way up.
So it could have been a crippling start for the Washington Redskins to fall into a hole 15 seconds into the game. Larry Nemmers gave the call, but his microphone was not on, so we didn't hear the number.
There was a hold, but there was no hold there. Apparently, number 54.
That's Keith O'Neill, a rookie, a free agent from Northern Arizona. We understand the call was on O'Neill, and that erases what would have been a 100-yard kick return for a touchdown. So the Cowboys start with it at their own 20. Right up to the air, and a completion for Quincy Carter out to the 40. Antonio Bryant, one of the 3 very good receivers for the Dallas Cowboys. Gain of 20.
Yeah, and Antonio Bryant working against Fred Smoot. Fred Smoot has been hurt with a fractured sternum, but he's playing today in that cover 2 zone. That's the void. That's the weakness. Quincy Carter delivers a perfect pass, and Antonio Bryant does a great job of getting into the area.
I'll tell you what, and Fred Smoot didn't look too anxious to jump on that pile at the end either. We'll have to keep our eye on him.
Cowboys figure to run at Smoot. They've already thrown at Smoot. And on first down, play action. So 2 throws. This one aired out for Galloway, and with contact, it's picked off. Intercepted by Matt Bowen. 1 completion, 1 interception, and the Redskins have the ball.
Well, the problem with that is that Quincy Carter just holds on to the ball entirely too long. They wanted to come out today, take some shots down the field, but you can't sit there and take 3 bunny hops in the pocket and get the ball out. Get the ball out to Joey Galloway. Joey Galloway is one of the fastest players in the National Football League, and you've got to get that ball up in a hurry, not to underthrow him.
Troy is just like the play last week against the Buccaneers. He had a chance to hit the big play in that one. Underthrew the pass for an interception. Happens early again.
Now the Redskins have it with Patrick Ramsey at quarterback. And they toss it to Morton running right. Little Chad Morton picked up 4. Offensively, up front, you've got Larry Moore at center. What these guys are trying to do with their blocking scheme is get the tight ends away from trying to block defensive ends. That has been deadly for the Washington Redskins and painful for Patrick Ramsey. That offensive line has allowed 25 sacks, second most in the NFL. Second down. Ramsey has time. The pass incomplete. Good coverage by Woodson as he was on Brian Johnson, the fullback. That'll bring up 3rd down and 6. And we look at this defense, which, believe it or not, they don't get a lot of ink about it. The #1 defense in the NFL.
A lot of no-name guys on that defensive squad, but there's no question, Joe, it's been a very cohesive group, and they've played well through the early part of this season.
3rd down and 6.
Blitz time.
Ramsey backing up as he lets it go. McCants with a catch, but he's tackled shy of a 1st down. Coakley on the stop, a gain of only 1.
I think that's one of the things you're going to see from this Dallas Cowboys defense. They're going to come up. They're going to show that they're going to try to blitz, but then they pull out of it. They only rush 4. You got Patrick Ramsey thinking that he's in a hot situation, has to unload it quickly. And these linebackers do a tremendous job for Dallas running and covering the underneath things. They are as aggressive and as fast-flowing as any linebacker tandem in the league.
Got to believe Ramsey's a little yippy with the number of hits he's taken, and that offensive line has been criticized all season. Galloway from the 30. A little move, and he's forced out near the 35. A return of 6 yards. Mitchell on the stop. James Brown on the game break. JB?
Hey, Joe, thank you so very much. San Francisco has lost 8 of his last 9 games to the Rams, but take a look at this start here. Game-opening kickoff. Cedric Wilson takes it 95 yards to pay dirt. Yours was called back. Not this one here. San Fran up 7-0. Back to Joe, Troy, Chris, and Pam.
All right, JB, so Bobby April's special team strikes again. That's been a problem for the Rams the last 3 years.
Yeah, with Jeff Garcia being out this week in that ball game, the other units, like we saw in that special teams, they're going to have to pick it up.
From their own 36, the Cowboys have it for the 2nd time. And a toss to Hambrick. Running left. And a big gain on 1st down. He picked up another 1st down, but the ball came out. Right now they're calling fumble, and it's picked up by Arrington. So another turnover as Hambrick coughs it up. 2 quick ones, and that's already under the skin, as you would imagine, of Bill Parcells.
Well, remember, officials typically are slow to call this because they want to be able to use replay. Let's see if the knee was down. Nope, it was not. That was a fumble. Nice call by the officials.
Yeah, good non-call by the officials. When we're watching it live, it looked like the knee might have been on the ground prior to the ball coming out, but these pictures clearly show that was not the case.
Matt Bowen knocked it out before the knee was down. Bill Parcells and the Dallas sideline, they've thrown the red challenge flag.
Well, quite a different start for the Dallas Cowboys. They came out and ran the first 6 times against Tampa.
That the player fumbled the football. We'll review the play.
And yet in this one, they've come out throwing deep and then running outside, something they were really unable to do against Tampa in that ball game. And it's probably a weakness for this team, Troy. They don't have the kind of speed to get outside. They're not really a drop back and throw it deep kind of a team. So maybe trying to throw something unexpected at the Redskins.
Yeah, and it's a weakness for Troy Hambrick. I mean, he's a big back. He's a big physical back, but he's not someone who can get out on the corner. As we take a look, the ball looked like it was clearly out prior to the knee going to the ground. And so the first run that Hambrick has, he has an opportunity to get out on the perimeter. Does a nice job, but he will not be playing in this game long if he can't hang on to the football.
Well, he was really embarrassed after the game last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He grew up not far from Tampa Stadium, had about 25, 30 relatives that he got tickets for in the game, and came out and did absolutely nothing. 11 carries for 25 yards in the first half, never even touched the ball in the second half of the game. So he was going to try and come out and put on a good show today, but not a good start.
So other games are continuing across the NFL. We understand the Giants, who are in overtime with the Jets, missed the 39-yard field goal in overtime.
And the beat goes on for them.
So more kicking woes for Jim Fossil's team, and their overtime continues at the Meadowlands. Here it's more mistakes like a week ago against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And one thing we were going to talk about, didn't get the chance because we came out a little late, the Dallas Cowboys. And the question has been, well, who have they played? I mean, are they that good? They're in first place in the NFC East. But at this point, so what? Parcells says it starts now with 4 of the next 5 here. They get shut out last week. They've turned it over twice today. And while there are a ton of questions around the Redskins, there have to be just as many right now around the Cowboys.
Well, I think the Dallas Cowboys, I think even they themselves are questioning just how good they are. They lost to a good football team last week, but these are the type of games that good teams win. Divisional game at home.
Play. The ball was out before the runner's knee hit the ground. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands. Dallas is charged with their first timeout.
As I was saying, they get an opportunity to play a divisional game at home. Good teams win those games. Good teams also bounce back from devastating losses like they suffered last week and play well. So I think there's a lot on the line here for the Dallas Cowboys in determining what kind of team they have.
Starting from the 41, so good field position for Patrick Ramsey. And they hand off flea flicker. Ramsey is hammered by Wynn. Another big hit on Patrick Ramsey. And another shot out to Los Angeles at game break. Here's JB.
Joe, you talked about the kicking woes of the Giants. Here is the visual embellishment. Brett Conway, ex-Redskins kicker, misses it left. It was only, quote-unquote, a 39-yarder. We're still tied in OT. Back to Joe Buck.
Yeah, I don't think the word only comes into any field goal tries for the New York Giants right now. Second down and 22 after the flea flicker doesn't work. Now a screen pass to Morton. Still shy of the original line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up third down and long, a gain of 10.
It was
Patrick Ramsey.
Excuse me, Joe. By the way, it's good to have you back in here, big guy. You know, Darren Woodson, who got burned on a flea flicker a week ago against Tampa Bay, that time was ready for it. He sucked up a little bit, but he was able to turn and run and get back underneath the pass just before the pressure got there.
Third down and 12. Ramsey is hit again. Another sack. This time it's Coakley.
You know, the Dallas Cowboys, they've had problems getting pressure on the quarterback with their front four. The way that they're going to do it is they're going to bring linebackers. We saw 2 plays ago, they bring Dat Wynn. This time they bring Dexter Coakley off the edge. Chris Samuels doesn't slide out to help pick that up. Patrick Ramsey, the way he reacted, he thought he had it picked up. They have got to be able to shore this up because this is something that Dallas is going to continue to do until they show they can block it.
Barker with another punt. It is a gorgeous punt with Galloway on the run, catching it near the 15. Penalty flag for a block in the back. There's another one. And Galloway is out of bounds across the 30, out at the 31, but there'll be a penalty against the Dallas Cowboys after a 54-yard punt. By the way, while you watch Patrick Ramsey get pasted already 2 times in this game, realize that the Redskins don't really have a backup quarterback. Yeah, they've got Tim Hasselbeck. He's never thrown a pass in a regular season NFL game, and they don't even dress out a third-string quarterback.
Joe, I don't understand that at all. I think when you've got a team, and Daniel Snyder has talked all week, and the way he came into this season feeling like this was a team that could compete, you don't go into an NFL game with a backup quarterback that has no NFL experience, that has not even been with your football team until this week. I just don't think the right decisions are being made in that area.
I tell you, though, I think Patrick Ramsey on that last one, it was on him.
Downfield on the kicking team, number 58. We had illegal block in the back. On the return team, those penalties will offset, will re-kick. 4th down.
Well, that's bad news for Barker, who gets a 54-yarder taken off his record.
But anytime you see every man covered, and when the Redskins want to go to their spread formations, there are going to be certain guys that are going to be able to come free. And they had every man covered on the left-hand side. They bring 4 that side. And so that means, I believe, the quarterback has to be in a position to make that pickup over there. And he's got to know, because he never looked back to that side.
Well, he never looked. And you're right. If they bring 4 to that back side, it's not going to be blocked. But the other thing about this Redskins offensive system is there are no hot breakoffs. The quarterback's got to be able to see it and get it out. I don't know if they have a lot of these things built in order to take care of some of these things. That's one of the frustrating things for Patrick Ramsey.
So another punt from Barker. And another good one. Galloway. 17. Made the most of it, got back to the 20. Already some mistakes for the Dallas Cowboys. And mistakes don't go over too well with the tuna. And a 100-yard kick return that was for a touchdown called back because of that hold. Then the second throw by Carter, picked off by Bowen. And the first run by Hambrick, he fumbled. But even with that last opportunity with great field position out at their own 41, a failed flea flicker, say that fast 10 times in a row, and another punt from Barker for the Washington Redskins.
You know, we're early in this game, but to be honest, the Redskins are lucky to be in it. I mean, this really could have been a horrible start for them. Luckily, they're sitting there 0-0 still.
Movement up front. Gerard went too soon. But
before the ball was snapped, Washington called timeout. That's their first team timeout.
By the Redskins prior to Gerard moving too soon. So no penalty, just a timeout. Let's again check in with James Brown. JB?
Hey, fellas, take a look at what Indiana did to finally put it out against Miami. Play action. Peyton Manning hooking up with Troy Walters here. They go on to win at 23-17. Peyton Manning really did dodge a bullet because he threw a pick in the closing minutes on a quick slant. Boy, is he sweating bullets now. All right, folks, back to Joe Buck.
All right, James Brown, thanks. That's the crew here in Dallas, and we look at the starting lineups for the Dallas Cowboys, even though they have the ball for the third time. That's just the way the beginning of this game has gone. Kurt Vollers is up at right tackle with Ryan Young out with a bad knee, not even active. And then you've got that very good trio of receivers with Glenn, Galloway, and Antonio Bryant.
Yeah, that's the strength for this offensive team, and a lot of people feel like they weren't utilized last week in that game against Tampa.
Handoff is to Hambrick. Hangs on to the ball with two hands here as he gets it out to the 25. 24.5, 25. Look at the defense up front. At defensive end, you've got Bruce Smith, who is on the verge of history, 2 sacks shy. The new all-time record. The linebackers, and everybody looks at Arrington. Trotter in the middle. Armstead is on the outside, and then the secondary, and they are banged up back there. Ballman, not even active, shouldn't be on that list. Fred Smoot made the start, and the Cowboys are trying to find him. Fractured sternum back October 12th for Smoot. Over the middle, wide open, and dropped. Glenn had it at the 40 and just dropped it. 3rd down and 5 coming up.
Well, that time they lined up Dan Campbell in the backfield. He's going to take the fullback position right here. They're without the services of Richie Anderson, who normally plays their fullback spot, so they're looking for other guys in the tight end position, whether that's Dan Campbell or Jason Witten. But right there, Terry Glenn, who really is their established receiver, probably playing better than the other 2 receivers, drops that one. Just a play that he's got to be able to make.
3rd down and 5. It's in the air and picked off. Ohalete on the return looking to lateral. Instead, he'll be brought down at the 6. Another turnover, 3rd in this first quarter by the Dallas Cowboys. And this crowd at Texas Stadium is stunned.
Boy, if Terry Glenn has a glaring weakness, in my opinion, it's when he goes over the middle. He tends to lose concentration. I don't know if he's worried about getting hit or what, but that is an easy catch. Ball kicks up in the air. Ifeanyi Ohalete with a heads-up play, but that is just all on Terry Glenn. Back-to-back plays. The quarterback puts it right in the right spot, and you can't make either of them.
Well, this has been another gift basket handed to the Washington Redskins, who now start with it at the Dallas 6. Handoff is to Morton, and the little guy is swallowed up by Wynn and others. A loss of 1.
You know, Bill Parcells is always like big physical linebackers, and Dat Wynn and Dexter Coakley really do not fit that mold. But Dat Wynn is playing as well as anybody on this defensive team. He flies around. He's always around the ball. And as we saw there, he just tends to make plays. And Bill Parcells has been very impressed with this player's ability.
Second down and goal. Pass is caught for a touchdown. That's Lavernius Coles. A delay. Now the two officials get together and talk about it. It is ruled a touchdown, and the Washington Redskins strike first.
I tell you what, that was one fantastic read. They called a touchdown. That was one fantastic read that time by Ramsey. When Dexter Coakley walked out there on Lavernius Coles, I thought it was going to be a zone. All of a sudden, you turn and you see Coakley in man coverage. He read it very quickly. He threw it to the right guy. Easy touchdown. Great matchup. Great read by Patrick Ramsey.
Great call by Steve Spurrier. I think the reason they had Dexter Coakley on him, they thought he had run some kind of slant and that Coakley as a linebacker could get physical with him. Instead, they run the wheel route. Great call versus man coverage against a linebacker.
And you can see the officials got together. Coles got both feet down, and the extra point is blocked. John Hall had been perfect until that. A shake of the head. And it's a 6-0 Washington lead instead of 7. Big Flozell Adams got his hands up. Nice use of the yellow arrow, Chris.
Thank you very much. The hotel got him with the upper floors there, didn't he?
You know, and that's not the first time that Flozell has blocked a field goal or an extra point. Of course, he's an offensive lineman. He's a left tackle, but he comes in on field goal when the opponent is kicking field goals or extra points for that purpose. He's a big guy, and he's able to get his hand on the ball as he did there.
6'7", 357. And Flozell Adams at least takes a point off the board. You see Philadelphia with the lead early at Atlanta, so Atlanta's troubles continue. Do we go to our sprint? Is Billy Crystal waiting for our sprint question? No, we don't do that here. But Troy and Chris, I mean, what a start for the Dallas Cowboys. This is literally about as bad as it can get in the first quarter of the opening minute.
Oh, yeah, and that's something you'd really expect because of what happened last week. Bill Parcells was extremely tough on this football team all week long, and I know that they anticipated coming out and playing very well, playing very aggressively, and so far, just some bad things have happened to them.
I tell you, I disagree a little bit with what the Cowboys are doing defensively, too, because right now the Redskins are having all kinds of problems trying to stop the blitz. They do it a couple times, they get there, and then they back off, but down there on the goal line as well. I just think that you have to keep coming after Ramsey until they prove they can pick it up and until he proves he can beat somebody with it.
On the other side, there are so many different topics to talk about with regard to the Washington Redskins. The best thing they can do to put that all off for another week is to come out with a fast start thanks to 3 Dallas turnovers. It's a 6-0 lead here early with 8.5 to play in the first quarter. This is Ross. And the Dallas fans just happy that Ross can hang on to the football. A 26-yard return. The last drive. Jimmy Blount had a rough one. Dropped what would have been a sure first down catch, and then not only dropping it, mishandling it, kicking it up into the air, into the arms of Ohalete, return to the 6, and then the quick strike touchdown.
Yeah, and you don't have any idea what that does for a quarterback's confidence. Quincy had a tough game last week at Tampa Bay. He comes in here today. He throws the bad ball down the field to Joey Galloway. It's intercepted. Then he regroups, comes back, and makes 2 good throws. One dropped by Terry Glenn, and the other one results in an interception.
Handoff is to Hambrick, and he falls down. He falls down, go boom. Went down to the backfield. Haley celebrates because the turf monster got it. Loss of 1.
I mean, this has just been a little bit of a circus so far for the Dallas Cowboys. This is a team that for the first 6 games or so of the season anyway, had just been executing perfectly, not making the big mistakes. And they come out so far and they just have looked horrible. I don't know if they took a blow to their confidence against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or not, but boy, they sure haven't reacted in this one yet.
The newly signed Darrell Russell is in the lineup for the Washington Redskins along the defensive line. Playing in left defensive tackle. He is swallowed up, and Glenn almost, and they're going to say it is intercepted off Glenn into the arms of Arrington. He was down by contact, and the initial call was intercepted, down by contact, Washington's ball, and now they're going to change the call to incomplete.
The ball hit the ground. Third down.
Well, you got Terry Glenn just running an out route, and again, the ball's put right where it needs to be put. They get away with another one. I mean, that ball right there very easily could have been intercepted by LeVar Arrington, but that is, you know, it's a play that Terry Glenn has to make. I mean, you've got to make these plays. These are not difficult catches that we're asking him to catch.
I tell you, it's like anything else, though, whether it's a golf swing or playing quarterback. You miss the first couple of them, and I tell you, they get harder and harder and harder to catch. You start doubting yourself.
Now it's third down and 11. Carter with plenty of time, drops it off, and it's tipped and incomplete. Campbell, the intended receiver, and with their shoulders sagging, the Dallas offense exits the field.
Quincy Carter, though, has just had all kinds of time. The problem for the Redskins, they never get any push here. So they can help on the outside with backs and with tight ends and all that. For the amount of time that Quincy Carter has had, you would think they'd be ringing up all kinds of yards in the passing game, but obviously he's not getting any help on the receiving end of those throws.
Now it's Toby Gone with his first punt. The line drive with Morton waiting deep, and it will hop out of bounds near the 35. That's where the Redskins will take over, up by 6. Next week, Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's #1 pregame show. Then the Buccaneers take on the Carolina Panthers, who are
losing again today,
17-14. Tampa Bay came back to tie it near the end of regulation. This is a toss. Morton has been busy, has some room to run, and Morton is out to midfield. Dexter Coakley on the stop. The crowd is completely out of this game. A gain of 15 yards by Morton.
One of the problems when you play man coverage on the outside, your defensive backs are just with their back turned and running away from the play. So now there's nowhere to support whatsoever. Actually, the receivers did a poor job. If they'd have kept running, those defensive backs would have kept running as well. They turned and tried to block.
Well, Eric Abagu, the defensive end, he's got contained on that play. He got suckered inside, and they broke outside.
So at midfield, the Redskins have a first down. The pass caught by Coles. Brilliant catch. Quick throw from Ramsey, a gain of 7. Another piece of work for James Brown with a game break. JB.
All right, Tim Rattay in for the injured Jeff Garcia for San Francisco. They cap an 8-play, 72-yard drive, hooking up with who else? Terrell Owens at the back of the end zone, and San Fran on top by 14-3 over St. Louis. Back to Joe Buck.
JB, thanks. You look at the NFC West. Seattle and St. Louis coming in at 5-2. Seattle defeated St. Louis earlier in the season. Seahawks will battle Pittsburgh. They're playing as we play here in Dallas. Morton again. Brought down a yard shy of first down yardage, a gain of 2.
Patrick Ramsey that time saw safety Roy Williams walk up, and he went to the audible. Now, you never know for sure whether or not they're going with the dummy audibles or not, but that's the guy that you're going to focus your entire game plan around. Now the Washington Redskins have the Cowboys starting to drop that safety down, trying to help against the run. Now you're going to get some one-on-one situations with Lavernius Coles on the outside.
In essence, 2 fullbacks in for Washington. They're without Trunk Candidate and Liddell Betts, their top 2 running backs. Third down and a long one. Ramsey sacked again. This time it's Woodson, but a penalty flag on the play. Sacked all the way back at the 45. And there is a marker down on this third down play.
Why would you do anything else against the Redskins? You know, until somebody makes a play against the blitz, I would just keep firing at them.
On the offense, number 60. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Woodson ends up getting the sack.
They bring all-out blitz. They play man-to-man on the outside. You're going to see Roy Williams, who comes outside, takes on the blocker Cartwright. That's what opens it up for Darren Woodson up inside. And you can tell that Patrick Ramsey just has nowhere to go with the football. They've got to be able to keep people in to help protect him.
Penalty flag. This will be against Washington. Looked like a hold. And Joey Galloway makes the catch inside the 20. But this is a hold on the Washington Redskins. And the Cowboys, I'm sure, will make them punt it again.
I think, Chris, to go back.
On the kicking team, number 29. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
You know, we expect the next punt from Barker. You saw that score at the top of your screen with the Giants ending up on top. Let's go to JB for a game break. James Brown, it's all yours.
Joe Buck, ex-Redskin kicker Brett Conway with the second chance to win an OT for the Giants. This time he does it, a 29-yarder. Boy, talk about a huge sigh of relief for Brett Conway and the Giants. Back to Joe Buck.
AUT-O-Matic.
They're dancing in Manhattan.
Nothing to it.
Half of it.
Giants now 4-4, and you can see that field goal was good with 4 seconds left in overtime. Beautiful punt by Barker, better than the first. And Galloway knocks it out of bounds after the penalty on Washington. It actually cost the Cowboys some yards.
Yeah, I think to go back to that last offensive possession by the Redskins, 3rd and 1, and yet the Cowboys play man-to-man, 2-receiver route, and the receivers are running down the field. It was going to be something that was going to be in the intermediate to deeper range. And when you do that, the quarterback has to have time to throw the football. These receivers do not break off their routes. Therefore, it's built in. But when you're running down the field and the receivers aren't looking for the football, the quarterback's back there left holding the bag. There's nowhere for him to go with it.
Well, if they don't start breaking off their routes, they're going to break off their quarterback.
Well, and then let's remember, there is no backup quarterback that has NFL experience. Tim Hasselbeck is that guy today.
Starting from their own 15. Hambrick. Out near the 20. Armstead on the tackle, and he gets up marking.
We were talking to Michael Barrow last week from the Giants about Jesse Armstead, and he said, you know, he's just one of those classic guys. He doesn't always know exactly what's going to happen, but when he sees something, he's going to run and hit it. He's going to explode in there. Does he make some mistakes? Yeah, he makes some mistakes. But when this guy decides to attack and to run downhill and to go hit a ball carrier, man, he really comes.
2nd down and 6 now. Keep it on the ground. Keep it in the arms of Hambrick. Right up the middle. 1st down, Hambrick, and the Cowboys out to the 34. Ohalete on the stop after a gain of 15.
And this is really what the Cowboys are going to have to do. When the Redskins come out and they play cover 2 defense, you're going to see the safeties back here. That's the 2 deep shell. That means there's only 7 defenders to stop the run. You've got to be able to run the football effectively against that. And as you can see, a tremendous hole for Troy Hambrick to get through.
It's a 1st down for the Dallas Cowboys. And the handoff is to Adrian Morrell, recently signed. Guy who hasn't played in the NFL, not in a regular season game since 2000. As Bill Parcells tries to get a little life in that running game, he brings him back. He had him with the Jets.
Yeah, and I think Troy hit it right on the money a little while ago when he said Troy Hambrick put the ball on the ground. Expect Bill Parcells to make a change in that backfield. It didn't take long.
Well, and Adrian Morrell would have made the team coming out of training camp, but because of contractual issues and league policy, he was forced to be cut. And at the first opportunity that Bill Parcells had, he was going to be the guy who they brought back. Richie Anderson goes down. Morrell's back in the game.
A toss to Hambrick. A little fumble of that toss. Back to Carter, and now he'll run. And slide down at the 40. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 4. We know a large portion of our audience just joined us. In case you're part of that audience, here's what you've missed. Nothing, but plenty. There hasn't been much happening in the way of offense. A hold on what would have been a 100-yard kick return for a touchdown. Called back. There have been 3 turnovers and 1 touchdown. Lavernius Coles on that nifty catch. The throw from Ramsey. The extra point was blocked. The Cowboys look nothing like the team that was 5-1 a couple of weeks ago. Coming off a shutout loss in the hands of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now trailing 6-0. Redskins do not come on the blitz, and Carter fires. Wide open is Glenn. And a first down inside Washington territory at the 49.
Terry Glenn's going to be in the slot, and again, the Redskins are going to go to a cover 2 coverage, and they just don't cover him up. They allow him to get into the void. Just a very easy conversion there on 3rd down.
I tell you what, if they don't start getting a little bit of pressure, there's no way these Redskins defensive backs going to be able to cover this set of receivers for that long.
Darrell Russell, who has not been in the NFL since 2001, out 18 months on a drug suspension, signed this week by the Redskins, is in the lineup. This is Morrell. Penalty flags on the play. And we'll check the call. The Redskins.
Hello.
There's Dan Campbell saying, you think he got my face mask?
Let me make this call easy for you.
That's a lot of face masks right there.
He did a little Donald Duck impersonation with it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Illegal hands to the face on the defense, number 91. That 5 yards will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Rip the face mask off its moorings, and it's only the 5-yard variety.
I'll tell you what, Larry Allen pulled around the corner here. Watch number 73 and just demolished his guy. And then, of course, we get the little pull and tug.
And then at the end of the play,
come on, Bill, make a play.
Parcells goes down.
The old Bill was a linebacker in his day.
Did he get cut a lot?
Under a minute to play in this first quarter. Adrian Morrell gets it on a handoff from Carter. A little dance down to the 35, a gain of 3.
You know, I think it gives you an idea, as Adrian Morrell is in the game still, what kind of confidence Bill Parcells has in him. Either that or a lack of confidence right now in Troy Hambrick. As we were talking about, he has not run the football and even been on a team since the end of training camp. He comes in this week. He's had limited practice time. He's already gotten the game here and has had several carries.
Oh, remember, he probably wouldn't even have been here if not for the fact they couldn't make the trade for Kevin Barlow. They tried to get him in here.
Until the Cowboys can find a Phillips head screwdriver. Campbell's out of the lineup. Jason Witten is in at tight end. And Carter rolls out and fires to the sideline, incomplete. Terry Glenn, the intended receiver. And it was Terrell who is going to get some action at cornerback today. Diving, trying for the interception.
You know, as we look at Dan Campbell,
and thank goodness we are.
You know, he has really brought tremendous leadership to this team. And when you consider who the leaders of this offensive group are, surprisingly, they're Dan Campbell and Richie Anderson, 2 guys that were acquired in free agency acquisitions, were not even a part of this club. And they've done a great job of providing some stability for this team.
Larry Allen again is out. Been bothered by a left knee problem. Came out of the game last week in Tampa. That's down the middle of the field. Glenn, the catch. And a first down inside the 5. Now they're going to say touchdown. Penalty flag at the end of the play, back near the line of scrimmage, and this is coming back. So while the officials huddle near the goal line to get that call straight, don't worry about it, because back at this end, it's coming back.
Illegal motion on the offensive team, number 82. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Well, that's Witten in the lineup in place of Campbell, out with the face mask problem, and that play, which was ruled a touchdown, is coming back.
Well, you talk about missed opportunities. They already had the kickoff return back. You're going to see Terry Glenn here in the slot. They're going to go cover 2. He's coming to the middle. That's the penalty because he doesn't get set. But Terry Glenn goes down the middle into the weakness of that cover 2 for the touchdown, and they just keep shooting themselves in the foot and not taking advantage of some of these opportunities that they've created.
You could see that Glenn came down on the body of Bowen, rolled into the end zone. They called it a touchdown. But we've got 1 play remaining in this first quarter, which so far has been frustrating and mistake-filled for the Dallas Cowboys. 3 turnovers, 2 touchdowns called back because of penalties. And it's 3rd down and 12. And movement by the right tackle. That's Kurt Vollers, who is in the lineup in place of Ryan Young out with a knee injury.
Hey, this is a makeshift offensive line right now.
Snap. False start on the offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Vollers in there at right tackle. Larry Allen now out of the ball game. Tyson Walter in for him, number 71. And when Tyson Walter came in last week against the Buccaneers, it was not good. Warren Sapp and company had a big day.
So now third down and 17. Carter time down the middle. Glenn falling all the way, and it's incomplete. Quincy Carter's looking for a flag, won't get it, as Terry Glenn had a spot, could not maintain his footing, and couldn't make the catch. And that is officially the end of the first quarter. So when we come back, it's fourth down and a punt coming from the Dallas Cowboys, who after one here in Texas trail Washington 6-0. Larry Allen, who is out with a sore left knee, gets a little love from Dr. Jones, rubbing that left knee and hoping that he can get back out on the field.
Well, Larry's trying to get him up.
Yeah, Larry's got to be the guy to decide whether or not he's going to come back.
The punt is downed in the end zone, a touchback. This ball will come out to the 20, calling it a touchback as Pete Hunter got there but could not keep his left foot off the goal line. Right there.
You know, Troy, if I'm not mistaken, I think you're allowed to reestablish yourself back in the field even if you go into the end zone. So I couldn't really tell if his foot was on the line when he actually caught the ball.
But the officials did, and they said he was. And the defense has 11 total yards, but a 6-0 lead. Thanks in large part to the Cowboys' 3 turnovers and ill-timed penalties. Morton, the former Jet, after a fake right, runs left. He's forced out by Woodson, a gain of 7. A big penalty, one of the 2 big ones that's erased a touchdown today, is the tight end Witten, who while in motion looked like he started to head upfield and forward before the snap, and that took the touchdown throw and the completion to Terry Glenn and the 6 points off the board.
Well, that would have been the only reason as to why there would have been a penalty on him, but based on what we've seen, it did not look like much. It really did not look like he was moving forward towards the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 3, and a handoff to Morton. Nice move by Morton, and he's got a first down across the 35. Chad Morton picks up 10.
Excuse me, Joe. Well, I tell you what, Chad Morton has really added some pop to this running game. Remember, Trung Candidate and Liddell Betts, the 2 starting tailbacks, are out. And Chad Morton really has just been an emergency guy. He came in at the end of the Buffalo game and ripped off some runs just like he's been doing today. But that has really slowed down the Dallas Cowboys' ability to bring the blitz so far.
A season-high 37 yards for Chad Morton. And here's Ramsey changing it up. This offensive line has had a tough time sitting still. Pass is knocked down, incomplete. Roy Williams got a hand on it. Second down.
You know, and what's a little bit surprising there is you're going to get, again, the man-to-man coverage by the Dallas Cowboys, and you've got Lavernius Coles lined up against a rookie in Terrence Newman, and Patrick Ramsey never even looks that way. I mean, you got a hitch route out there, and I've got to believe as a quarterback, when you come out and you got your best receiver against a rookie corner in the National Football League, he's getting the football every time.
Singleton and Williams got a hand on that pass. It's second down. Ramsey dumps it off to Morton. Nice move. He slides down at the 44. Gain of 7.
I tell you, he really is a weapon now coming out of the backfield as Chad Morton. It creates some real matchup problems. Here's the problem, though. A very small guy, 5'8" and 200 pounds, and they knew they couldn't overuse him because if they did, this would be the result.
Paying Morton a lot of money to come over as a free agent from the Jets. He's had a tough time returning kicks. Now being used as the running back primarily, down and getting looked at here in Dallas. We're going to go out there and win, right? Right. Let's go out there and beat us. Be big part of the offense, and he has given this Redskins a little burst. But on the sideline now, and it's 3rd down and 3. And there's movement along the line of scrimmage. Looked like the newcomer Kevin Ware, just brought up to the active roster, was guilty.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 48. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Let us, for the first time, say hello to Pam Oliver. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Joe. How you doing? A little stunned disbelief, perhaps, and tension really on this Cowboys sideline as everything seems to be going wrong. Team owner Jerry Jones has even made his way down here for whatever that means. You've seen situations of players screaming blame at each other. Whose fault was whose on a various play. One thing you haven't seen, though, is Bill Parcells completely blow his stack, though he could be saving that for the locker room at halftime.
3rd down and 8. Ramsey steps up, penalty flag on the play, and Ramsey overshoots Gardner. And it's a hold against the Redskins. This Washington team, guys, is on pace to set an NFL record for penalties called against them this season.
On the offense, number 60. Penalty is declined, 4th down.
I just think the Dallas Cowboys right now are doing a really good job defensively of coming up and showing blitz and getting those offensive linemen talking amongst each other, and then they're pulling out and they're still only rushing 4 guys as we see the hold there. Chris Samuels. And you're right, Joe. I mean, this is a team with the Redskins that has been penalized throughout the year, has had a tremendous number of them, and most of the penalties that they've had offensively have come amongst that offensive line.
Another punt from Barker. Line drive. And Galloway lets it hop out of bounds. Went out near the 25-yard line, and they will mark it right there at the 25. So Quincy Carter back to work. So far, the Dallas offense has not done much of anything. Down by 6. As the owner, together they made magic. Jerry Jones has already been down on the sideline in the first quarter, checked on his biggest investment, Larry Allen.
And sent his butt right back in the game.
Yeah, he touched,
I think
touched
it worked.
the left knee and said, "You shall be healed." And he's back in the lineup.
There we go. They're keeping a little distance there between them, though. They have both ends of the bench covered, I think you would call that, wouldn't you, Troy? Or do you want to make any comment at all? Yeah.
Come on, hop in, Aikman.
Give us a shot, will you?
Jerry used to get right in there in the coaching box when I was playing.
I thought he was in the huddle.
There's no doubt he's got a red handkerchief in his pocket just for the fun of it. First down for Dallas with Allen back in the lineup. Carter trying to set up a screen. He does to Morrell. Adrian Morrell. First down across the 35. Gain of 13 for a guy who hasn't been in a meaningful game since the 2000 season.
Yeah, and they do a nice job. Flozell Adams crashing down on LeVar Arrington, which provides Quincy Carter the time to get that out, and they set it up nicely with the screen. Adrian Morrell comes out. He gets in behind his blockers. He's able to stay in bounds there along the sideline. Just a nice job by him. And Adrian Morrell told us that he was able to stay in shape while he was inactive over the last several weeks there in Carolina, working out exceptionally hard, and its conditioning looks like it's good here today.
Under 12 to go in the first half. Adrian Morrell running left. Nowhere to go. And forced out of bounds all the way to the Redskins bench, and now he is into it with Kevin Mitchell and Antonio Pierce, or at least they're into it with him. No gain on the play.
I don't think Larry Allen is going to make it very long in this game. I really don't. He tried to pull out on that play, and as he was coming out and around, bumped into somebody, and you're going to see him just limping. He just literally could not get one leg in front of the other, almost fell down. At the end of the Tampa game last week, he was literally just leaning shoulders into people. He couldn't make a move physically with his legs to get in front of people to block, so he's just having to lean and pop people.
Second down and 10. Fred Smoot is on the sideline for the Redskins. Play action. Carter over the middle, over shoots his tight end and hits Bowen right in the chest. And Bowen, instead of his second interception of the day, drops it. Witten, the intended receiver.
Once again, Larry Allen trying to make a block right here in the middle, but one simple move and right by, and the pressure on Quincy Carter was what made him throw the ball up high. Just cannot make a move on that knee.
Well, that whole relationship between Larry Allen and Bill Parcells has been something to watch since day one.
It's been very contentious. There's no question. And a lot of people question whether or not Larry was hurt or whether Bill Parcells benched him in the game last week in Tampa. But he may have to take him out here today.
On 3rd down and 10. Carter buys some time, fires across the field, and has Glenn for a first down. 21-yard completion to Terry Glenn.
Well, Terry Glenn got off to a rough start, but he's starting to play pretty well here. Does a nice job of finding the void. Looks like we've got Flozell Adams on the ground.
So the big left tackle, Flozell Adams, is down getting attention. Larry Allen's already hobbling around. Well, Flozell Adams just now getting to the bench, and he just looks out of it.
Yeah, it was really strange. He comes back and he makes a play, makes a block on Bruce Smith, and then he just collapses at the conclusion of that play, and it just looked like he knocked himself silly.
Well, it's really significant when you consider Flozell Adams has never missed a game in his career.
Now Bowlers goes to the other side as the handoff is to Hambrick on 1st down. And a penalty flag comes in at the very end of the play. Torrin Tucker, who Bill Parcells will tell you is the future at tackle. The future is now.
Personal foul on the defense, number 93. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, 1st down.
Former Cowboy Pepe Zellner guilty. So Zellner will come out of the lineup after the personal foul, and the Cowboys will have a fresh set of downs. Threw a punch at the end of the play. And they're looking into the eyes of Flozell Adams.
Yeah, and Flozell Adams has really been playing well for this group offensively along that line. Was a disappointment last season, had the big contract, but had been playing spectacular this year.
Hambrick, full head of steam. Just flattens Ohalete down to the 10, and that's exactly what Bill Parcells is looking for out of Troy Hambrick, a big back.
Well, I can guarantee you that Bill Parcells was sending Troy Hambrick a message by not letting him continue to play after that fumble. He comes in here on this one and he hits it hard. Ifeanyi Ohalete trying to make the play on him, but Troy Hambrick, once he gets running downhill and starts picking up some speed, he's a tough guy to bring down.
San Francisco with a 17-3 lead over St. Louis. Hambrick down near the 7. Gain of 2.
Reagan Upshaw that time coming around the corner, and you go back to the game last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Cowboys in their running game got caught a lot off the edge, whether it was Barber coming off the edge, whether it was blitzing linebackers. It's a slow developing running game for the Dallas Cowboys, and so if you bring pressure immediately off the edge, sometimes you can get there.
First time in the red zone in a while for the Dallas Cowboys, who were shut out last week by the Bucs. Fake toss. Glenn can't pull it in with one hand. 3rd and goal coming up. Fred Smoot was there defending for the Redskins.
Well, for Terry Glenn, there's no reason to stick one hand in the air. That's a soft floating ball. The only thing you're doing there is you're keeping one arm down around your ribs to make sure you don't get hit. Just run underneath the ball. Or if you have to dive, you dive for the ball. I mean, it's not an easy play. I'm not saying that it was an easy play, but there comes a time when you just keep running out there and then you lay out.
Avion Cason is now in the lineup and split out to the bottom of your screen.
So they go into the empty set here. Nobody in the backfield.
On 3rd and goal. Carter over the middle, fires, it's caught. Bryant tried to make an extra move for the end zone, and he's brought down shy. And in comes the field goal unit for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, good play by Jeremiah Trotter, keeping Antonio Bryant out of the end zone there. Looked like they might be able to stick it on him and him have some room to maneuver to get in. But Jeremiah Trotter there to make the play.
You just kind of line up here on the end line, and then anything thrown in front of you, you come up and make the stick. And who cares where it is? 1 yard line, 2 yard line, send the field goal team out.
It'll be a 22-yard try for Billy Cundiff, who had made 12 in a row before a miss last week down in Tampa. And penalty flags before the snap.
Looks like Larry Allen's down.
So with Allen flat on his back, the Cowboy players are asking for the training staff to get help out there for Larry Allen. Now the Redskins are asking for the training staff to get out there, as this penalty is against the Washington Redskins.
I think that's the end of the day for Larry Allen. I mean, you watch him, he was struggling just getting to the line of scrimmage on the last couple of snaps. Now he collapses here. The knee's been an ongoing problem for him throughout this season.
And the crowd takes up the chant of Larry, Larry. They know how important he is to this football team.
Well, I didn't see it live, and I didn't see it on the replay.
Looked like, Joe, maybe he hyperextended that left knee. When he stuck it out and got hit, that left knee seemed like it hyperextended down.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defensive team, number 58, for jamming the signals of the offensive team. That's half the distance of the goal and an automatic first down.
Antonio Pierce.
And it sounded what they're saying, Joe, is that Antonio Pierce was barking the cadence, trying to throw off the offensive line and the center on that play, and that's why he was called for the penalty.
So it's an automatic first down. It's half the distance to the goal line, and the ball is sitting at the 2.
I tell you what, this Redskins team implodes more with penalties more than any team I've seen. So far this year, they're minus 22 in penalty ratio. They've had 73 coming in, only 51 for the opponents. Time after time, game after game, the Redskins beat themselves.
Dallas hadn't been too far behind them in today's game either.
Mike Stock's going crazy, special teams coach right behind Steve Spurrier there. I'm sure what Mike Stock is saying is, listen, guys, we have to make defensive calls out there, too. We're not trying to get them to jump. We're just making our defensive calls. Give us a break.
So now the officials get together. And they be talking about the spot of the ball, which right now is just inside the 2. And they are going to move the football to just outside the 2.
I'll tell you one thing about it is there's already been some big penalties here in the first half that have neglected points, taken points off the board, and now Dallas, who had lined up to kick a field goal, now has an opportunity to come away with a touchdown.
So 2 big Dallas penalties in this first half already, erasing touchdowns, and now a big one committed by the Washington defense on that field goal attempt just prior to the snap. A gain of 1, tackled by Trotter on Troy Hambrick.
Boy, that was a great effort by Jeremiah Trotter. Just shot through the gap there, and really, you can't really do anything but play a hole. I think he's coming from right there. You're not really playing the ball carrier at this point. You're just sort of playing the hole. Just shot through and made the play.
Hambrick is the tailback on second down. It's Hambrick. It's a touchdown. So the penalty on Pierce. The offense comes back on the field for the Cowboys, and Hambrick is into the end zone.
And both runs coming along that left side, usually manned by Larry Allen, who's out of the game, but they still come in behind that side. This time they're able to get just enough push to get Troy Hambrick into the end zone.
But Antonio Pierce doesn't say anything on this snap. The extra point. It is a 7-6 Dallas lead. They get an extra chance thanks to a Washington penalty. And Hambrick is into the end zone, his 4th touchdown of the season. With that, it's a 1-point lead for the Cowboys, who lead the NFC East.
It's not my yard.
So if you're looking
Oops. If you really want tickets to the game, just use your Visa. It's the card you know they'll take everywhere you want to be.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Friendly nonstop service all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom.
Before the kickoff by Dallas, let's go back to the penalty on Antonio Pierce. Right here, and listen and watch him. You can see his head moving as he barks out fake snap signals, and the officiating crew was there to call it. That brought the offense back onto the field instead of a 22-yard field goal try. With Pierce doing all he can to plead his case, it ends up a 2-yard touchdown run by Troy Hambrick and a 1-point Dallas lead.
And the official, I believe, was Andre Wash, and he let him go until he did it the 3rd time. You almost think that maybe if he had just done it once, he could have actually gotten away with it. But the 3rd time was just too much. And Larry Allen now going on the court.
Great work by our crew to find that piece of tape. Hambrick is going nowhere without that football. He's already fumbled once today, now into the end zone. On a hop, this is Patrick Johnson. Right up the middle, and he is hit and hit hard by Roy Williams. 25-yard return. The Redskins have the ball back, trying to get something going offensively as Allen will exit. Steve Spurrier talked about how he had been NFLized, and he wanted to air it out, get more fun in the fun and gun, throw it downfield. They hand off. This is Rock Cartwright running over the left side. They're about 50-50 run and pass. There is no fumble. They're ruling that Cartwright was down. Coakley made the stop. But the problem is, and Troy, we were going to talk about it before the game, it's fine to say you want to get the ball down the field, but if your quarterback is getting pounded every play and has no time to let plays develop, it doesn't matter what you want to do.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. A lot of people have come into this league and said, hey, we're going to reinvent it, and we're going to get the ball down the field. But these defenses today do a great job of not allowing the big plays.
2nd down and 4. Cartwright got to the line of scrimmage, then slowed down. And he was brought down, it looked like just shy of 1st down yardage, a gain of 3.
Hey, you can tell, though, the Cowboys defensively have a great deal of respect for Lavernius Cole and Rod Gardner and the guys on the outside, because with what we've seen from the Redskins and their ability to try and pick up blitzes, I'm really surprised we haven't seen more of them. And I think the only reason we haven't is because these receivers are such big play threats.
You know, and I think if you talk about what Steve Spurrier said coming into this game, as far as what you said, Joe, being NFLized, right now they are 50-50 run-pass ratio here towards the end of the 2nd quarter. So he didn't come in and throw the football as much as what I think a lot of people anticipated, or maybe even as much as what this Dallas Cowboys team anticipated based on some of his comments coming into the game.
You know, the other thing is that in college, you can't understand how good the pass rushers are in this league. And I'm not just talking about the defensive linemen. I'm talking about the linebackers. I'm talking about the cornerbacks. I'm talking about the safeties. Roy Williams is as good a pass rusher as there is in this league.
Pretty good.
1st down for the Washington Redskins. The ball at their own 37. Quick setup and throw, and Gardner, the intended receiver. Incomplete. Let's go back down to Pam Oliver.
All right, Joe, a couple of injury updates for you. The left side of the Cowboys offensive line going to undergo some changes because of a couple of significant injuries. Larry Allen, first of all, looks to have the most serious of the two injuries. You saw he was carted off the field. The Cowboys say he is back in the locker room as we speak, having his left knee evaluated. So far, they're saying it's a sprain. Meanwhile, Flozell Adams, he has a right shoulder contusion, and he is questionable.
Pam, thanks. It's 2nd down and 10 for Washington.
Here goes the audible. Now let's see if the Cowboys audible out of theirs. They do.
Suton McCullough in the backfield. This is flipped out for Gardner. Turned around too late. Incomplete.
And Joe, I think that's the problem you get into when you want to start trying to audible a lot at the line of scrimmage. These defenses today, when they see the quarterback start to audible and change the play based on the coverage that the defense is showing them, then they're going to get out of that. And that's exactly what Dallas did there. And so when you get into that Mickey Mouse game, do we audible, do we not audible? I really believe that you get up and you call the play and you run the play that's called, because it's too hard to try to predict what these defenses are going to be in.
Ramsey having a tough time hearing. And it's a timeout called for by the Redskins. They are left with one. They trail by one. 7-6 Dallas, and this crowd into it. 3rd down and 10. Blitz coming. Pass is nearly picked off by Newman. Roy Williams coming on the blitz, and Newman almost came away with an interception.
And Brian Johnson almost got knocked out of the game. You're going to see Roy Williams coming down. Brian Johnson trying to pick him up, just gets flat back. Chris was talking about it earlier, the ability of Roy Williams to rush the passer. You wouldn't think like that because he is a safety, but they use him a lot coming after the quarterback, and as we just saw, he's one of the better guys at doing it.
And Brian Johnson, the fullback, is a guy that really impressed Bill Parcells with his blocking ability.
Line drive punt to Galloway.
Until then.
Taken at the 20. Good return by Galloway after the 35. Roy Williams playing with a neck strain. He says it feels better, I guess. He threw it all at Brian Johnson and kept on coming. Dallas gets it back up by one. Flozell Adams is back at his left tackle spot. You see Tyson Walter will be next to him at left guard, taking the place of Larry Allen. And Boulders is in at right tackle, making the start today for Ryan Young. What else happened around the NFL today? Week 9, Kerry Collins enough to get by the Jets in overtime. Deuce McAllister, a big day as the Saints have defeated the Buccaneers 3 consecutive games. They swept them last year. And Anthony Thomas, big game for the Bears, who are trying to get it going again. Quincy Carter fires on 1st down. The pass is incomplete for Galloway. Out in Los Angeles sits a man named James Brown, and he is along with a game break.
All right, Joe Buck, take a look at Timber Tate, Terry Bradshaw, all excited about the Louisiana Tech product going up top to Brandon Lloyd, 27-yard strike. I tried to get a little bit more excitement because of Terry Bradshaw. San Francisco spanking the Rams by 21. Back to Joe Buck.
JB, thanks.
I think he's going to start doing his highlights like Bradshaw does his.
He may.
Never know.
Change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
2nd down and 10. Handoff is to Hambrick. And he is knocked down at the 37. Gain of only 3.
Well, Darrell Russell, it's a pretty well-traveled story right now. He's going to actually get through this time. He's been not doing a whole lot so far in the game. Of course, everybody knows the story. He just came off the suspension from the NFL, been out of the league for a couple of years. Had a few other off-the-field episodes that we won't talk about on family television, but the Redskins feeling like they were struggling so much up front, and they have been. They had to roll the dice with Darrell Russell.
On 3rd down, Carter to put it up. Plenty of time, fires, caught for a 1st down. That's Galloway, and there's an indication as to how strong Quincy Carter's arm is. That got to the sideline a blink.
And it really is an indication, Joe, of when he has time to throw the football and he gets clear sights of where he wants to throw the football. He's very effective, and he throws with confidence. You watch him here. They bring forward. The offensive line does a great job. Look at the pocket right there that Quincy Carter can step up into and make the throw, and he puts it right on the money to Joey Galloway.
First catch of the day for Galloway. And a first down inside Washington territory. Carter with all day. Down the middle, Bryant incomplete. Wide open, and Antonio Bryant couldn't come away with it.
I tell you, it's just a matter of time. As soon as the Cowboys receivers start to make some plays, this game's going to be a blowout. Watch the pathetic pass rush of the Washington Redskins. I mean, this is just absolutely horrible. You could put high school guys out there and rush the passer better than that.
Well, Antonio Bryant, he starts to run the slant and go, and because of the time provided Quincy Carter, he was still able to adjust his route and give Quincy an opportunity. We've spent a lot of time talking about the interior push that's lacking from the Redskins defensively. They're not even getting the outside push from their ends.
They'd have to be good high school players, don't they, Chris?
Really good. Yeah.
Really good. Carter fires, and the pass caught by Glenn. Terrell defending, and Glenn makes the reception 17 yards.
Well, the Washington Redskins have elected to play a lot of zone coverage in this game today, and they're not bringing any kind of blitz. We've already shown that they're not getting much pressure on Quincy Carter, and he's having time to throw the football, and as a result, they're not able to cover these guys up catching the football. They're going to have to somehow bring the blitz, bring pressure, because this secondary cannot hold up against this Cowboy wide receiver crew.
Total yards in this first half, nearly 4-1, as Hambrick lost the football. Troy Hambrick, his second fumble. It belongs to the Washington Redskins.
This is unbelievable. You know, the Dallas Cowboys, you have the feeling should be winning this game about 21-0. I mean, the total yardage, I don't know, 170-something to 45 yards right now. And the Cowboys are doing everything they can, dropping passes, fumbling the ball.
This may be your last look at Hambrick for a little while.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on seeing him again today.
His second fumble of the day, and the Redskins have it down by 1. It was Hambrick has a touchdown today, but 2 fumbles. He got the evil eye from Bill Parcells when he got back to the bench, where he may reside for a while. Under 3.5 to play in this first half, and the Redskins received their 4th turnover of this half. This is Rock Cartwright into the secondary, and a first down out across the 40. Roy Williams on the stop. Well, his first game back in 18 months. You think he got any magic dust? This is a play before forcing the fumble. A butterfly lands on his helmet. The people at PETI, people for the ethical treatment of insects, don't have to worry. He missed it, slapping his helmet, and then he forces the fumble. And then this from Parcells to Hambrick. What can Troy Hambrick say except sorry?
Yeah, and we don't want to know what Parcells was saying to him.
Play action. Over the middle. The pass too high for Lavernius Coles. And again, Ramsey ends up on his back and now having a tough time getting up. Pressure by Glover.
John Jansen, the first guy over to make sure he's okay. Of course, he left the game 2 weeks ago when they were playing Buffalo with his hand. He comes in a little bit banged up already. They just cannot afford to lose him, and boy, he gets hit hard there.
Samuels is down on his back after that play.
Excuse me, Joe. You could see Patrick Ramsey right at the end take one look down at Leroy Glover coming at him. He took one quick glance and took his eyes off the receiver. Now, who can blame him? I certainly am not. This kid has taken a pounding this year, but it has to have an impact. And when you start thinking about some of the other young kids that are playing quarterback and
it does become frustrating, because even when there's opportunities to maybe make plays, he's not afforded the time to be able to pull the trigger on them.
Washington 5 first downs, Dallas 4 turnovers. The story of the first half. Deep drop, and Ramsey is sacked by Williams. The fun and gun is no fun for Patrick Ramsey. And if they're going to continue to get everybody out in pass routes, Ramsey won't make it through the game.
Joe, it looks right now like that hand is bothering him again. He takes a shot from Roy Williams, blitzing right up the gut. Again, it's the same blitz they showed earlier that got to him. Rock Cartwright, I believe, is the guy trying to pick him up. But Patrick Ramsey has no chance. He has no chance back there with what the Cowboys are doing.
And with what his offense is doing around him. Blocking, namely, 3rd down and 19. And they hand off McCullough. Just to get it back out near the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down and 10 after Dat Nguyen made the stop. We up by only 1, and here's the hit that Ramsey just took.
Roy Williams coming again. You can see right there the left hand just getting whacked. So now he has matching hands that are killing him, right hand and left hand.
2 minutes left. The Cowboys about to get it back. Barker will punt it with Galloway waiting deep back at his own 12. Galloway on the return. Joey Galloway with a nice return out across the 25. They'll mark him out at the 28. And Todd Franz, one of the backup defensive backs, is down and injured after that return of 7.
Pointed in management.
Well, they tried to sign Danny Werfel. He wouldn't re-sign. Bitter over the way he was cut by Daniel Snyder last year as Carter airs it out. He's got Galloway. And he overthrows him. Galloway slowed down just a little bit, and it may have...
Absolutely right. I don't think Joey Galloway thought that Quincy Carter had the arm to get it out there to him. As he's running by Champ Bailey, you're going to take a look and see that he's looking back and he's not running. And then once the ball's in the air, he tries to then go after it. That one's on Joey Galloway. Quincy Carter makes a great throw here and gives him an opportunity.
After this play, tell the story of what Joey Galloway told you one time.
Well, in training camp, yeah, he had bets that I couldn't out-throw him, dropping back 5 steps and letting it go, and I never could.
Cowboys 2 timeouts left, and a handoff is to Morrell. No handbrake. Rather, Cason. Avion Cason with Morrell on the bench, and Cason picked up 8. That'll bring up 3rd down with 1:25 and counting here in the first half.
I'll tell you what, though, for Joey Galloway, I didn't know Quincy Carter could throw that ball that far. That thing was on the 30-yard line. That landed on the 2.
Well, Joey Galloway's so used to if the ball's not in the air right away.
A quick snap and a smart play as a 1st down is picked up with a defense not set. And with 2 minutes left and 2 timeouts left and over a minute remaining, the Dallas Cowboys will spend a timeout. So there's the Cowboys catching the Washington Redskins defense milling around, and Carter just said, well, we need to get a 1st down anyway. I might as well take it if they're going to give it to me.
That's ridiculous. You know, I mean, you can forgive the fact that they're lousy. You know, you can be bad. I was bad on occasion out there, and Troy was always good. But you got to be ready to play. You got to get lined up and be ready for the snap count. The quarterback puts his hands underneath the center. Can't be milling around and acting stupid out there.
It was a 4-yard quarterback sneak. Picked up a 1st down by a yard. And we go back to that play. And a heads-up play by Quincy Carter.
Well, it really was. And a heads-up play by the entire offense of just knowing, you know, he signals out, makes the call, and the call is that the center is just going to snap it. When Quincy gets underneath, no one else really needs to come off the ball, and they pick up the 1st down.
Now Tim Hasselbeck is starting to loosen. We showed you his statistics earlier, but those were from Boston College.
But you just wonder, Joe, I mean, how much does he really know? I mean, how much of this offense does he really know? He was with the Eagles this camp. He's been with the Redskins for 11 days.
Including today. 1:03 left. A timeout remaining, and Cason can't come up with it. Wasn't anything there anyway.
I've just never ever seen anything quite like this today. Have you ever seen so many dropped easy passes in an NFL game?
That, missed opportunities, penalties.
Hey, this is the wildest game I have ever seen.
It's hard to believe that we're watching the leader of the NFC East.
Well, you know that a team like the Giants, a team like the Eagles. The Giants won today in overtime. The Eagles, they're playing Atlanta. Last time I looked at a little Fox box, they're tied up now. Philadelphia blew a 10-0 lead. They have to be salivating at the thought of dealing with this Cowboy team the way they've played this first half. And as we wind down this first half, we'll tell you that coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league in the Fox Sports ticker up to the second scores and stats. One timeout left for Dallas. It's third down, and Carter dumps it off to the tight end, and what a hit. Campbell made the catch, and the hit was put on by Terrell. Shy of a first down, and now Washington is asking for a timeout.
I don't know if Bruce Smith is hurt, but Flozell Adams is just destroying him over here on this side. It's just been no contest whatsoever.
Well, Washington was asking for a timeout from their sideline, and Dallas, at least according to Larry Nemmers, called timeout, even though they're coming up to a fourth down punt. So I don't know if Nemmers just pointed the wrong way or what. But this one is charged at the moment to the Dallas Cowboys. Well, they have no reason to call timeout.
Bruce Smith's just going to get splatted. How would you describe that, Troy? Just splatted.
Well, pretty ugly. You know, you're right, Joe. I don't know why Dallas. I don't know why they would call timeout. They could have let the clock run out in this half end. And you're right. The Redskin coaches were signaling for timeout. I couldn't quite understand why they wanted the ball either, based on the way their offense has been playing here in the first half.
Throw Hasselbeck back out there. Your starting quarterback just ran in the locker room.
Bar Arrington.
Yeah, I think his pride's hurt. I think it's his pride more than anything.
Talked to us saying he just wants stability. He's had 4 different defensive coordinators in his 4 years. And now there's movement up front.
False start on the quarterback, number 17.
Right.
That's a 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
Quarterback cannot do that from under center.
Yeah, that's I believe that's a rule they just put in maybe this past year, last couple of years, where you're not allowed to be under center and make that kind of a jump. I think you can do a little bit more when you're in the shotgun, but not when you're under center.
Tell you, this half can't end soon enough. Jeez.
You can do the old fake timeout, trying to get movement up front, which the Redskins obliged with defensive movement along the line. But a quarterback can't do that. Whip out from under center. The call is against the Dallas Cowboys. And with 25 seconds left, it's a punt from Toby Goen. Something else has to happen before the end of this half.
I can't wait to watch Hasselbeck.
Well, it may be kneel down time as from the 20. The Redskins will have it. Trailing Bucks. Kneel down time. Elizabeth, you can breathe easy. He's not going to be hurt at the end of the first half. But what's to come in the second half? Will it be Hasselbeck? Will it be Ramsey, who left with a banged up left hand? He's already suffering from a bad right hand. This was just a bad half, and it ends.
Fine, but the problem isn't with that right hand, it's with the left forearm. It is heavily taped up at this point. He has trouble protecting the ball, putting his hand on the ball. If Tim Hasselbeck has to go in the game, I said, how much does he know about the offense? He says only a little bit, but our problems are still protection. We've got to be able to run the ball. Back to you.
Well, Pam, he came into this game, I would imagine, with his fingers crossed that they could protect Patrick Ramsey. We asked Ramsey if he had to change his cell phone number to stop getting all those calls from Hasselbeck, who's only been with the team for literally a week and a half. And he may have a baptism by fire here in Dallas here in a minute.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy Johnson said it best there at the pregame deal, that why would you allow your team to be put in that position?
This is Patrick Johnson on the return as Washington starts with the ball. And Johnson gets it up to the 24-yard line. You think about how this game has happened and unfolded in the first half as Ramsey will head back onto the field, and he's in the huddle for the Washington Redskins. Joe Buck, Clay Aiken, Troy Aikman, and Chris Collinsworth. Clay Aiken. 4 turnovers for the Dallas Cowboys. The only reason why this game is even close right now.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, it's not for the turnovers and the penalties. I mean, this game would not be close. Now you wonder, is Patrick Ramsey playing out of necessity, or is he playing because he really is capable of playing and not injured?
With that bandage on his left forearm, Rock Cartwright gets the handoff. You talk about a running game, trying to keep extra protection in to protect Patrick Ramsey, and we haven't seen much of either for the Redskins so far.
I think they need to put like caution tape around him, you know, and maybe some sort of a signal on top of Roy Williams' head, because somebody after a little while you might think about blocking him, you know, about to kill him. I mean, I've just really never seen, when you know one guy is the guy that presents the danger, that they can't figure out a way to get him blocked.
That's Cartwright. He has a first down for the Washington Redskins as they keep it on the ground here the first couple of plays. Why? Because Patrick Ramsey has been hit hard, dropped so far all day. The last one that he took, the one from Roy Williams, that one, it caught him on the back of the left hand, the wrist, and the left forearm. Hence the bandage on that left arm that Pam Oliver told us about. Look at how many times he's been sacked, hurried, knocked down. By far, #1 in the league ahead of Jeff Garcia. And this is yet another false start on the Redskins.
False start on the offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
You know, Joe, and I don't want to continually harp on this, but I, for the life of me, cannot understand going into a National Football League game with one healthy quarterback and one guy that knows the offense. It just makes no sense to me why you would come to this game. Patrick Ramsey's going to be the guy playing. He's getting beat up. He's banged up coming into the game, and then nobody on the rest of the team knows the offense and can come in and help.
First down at 15, and they toss it to Cartwright, and that's Ellis. Slams him down in the backfield, a loss of 2.
But Troy, to get back to your point for a minute, they let Rob Johnson go, and they were going to re-sign Danny Werfel. And I think the assumption was, well, Danny Werfel is just out there and he'll be begging to come back and play. And Danny Werfel said, I don't think so. You guys go ahead, play your little game out there. You're going to do it without me. And I have a little respect for Danny Werfel, to tell you the truth. They kind of pushed him out the door, said, we don't need you. And now when they need him, he said, no thanks.
Second down and 17. Only a 4-man rush for the Cowboys. Ramsey still ends up on the ground. Ellis with pressure, and that's going to bring up third down and 17 for Washington.
And my point being on it, Chris, is that you don't let go of Rob Johnson unless you know Danny Werfel is going to come back and be a part of your team. Again, as we watch, Patrick Ramsey taking the hits, and they've just not done a good job. They have kept people in at times and tried to give him protection, but these guys have just not picked up the blitzes, and they've not kept them off of him.
0 for 6 on third down, and this one's 3rd and 17. Again, a 4-man rush, and they dump it off to Cartwright. The Cowboys are ready for that. That's Newman on the tackle. A pickup of only 1 in time for a Redskins punt.
I'm wondering if we're seeing Steve Spurrier's system that he was wanting to unveil tonight from what he ran in college at Florida. Of course, that was the talk the last 2 weeks coming in. We've seen a lot of the running game. We've seen a lot of passes. We've seen a lot of Patrick Ramsey on his back. We haven't seen anything that even closely resembles what he did at Florida.
And I've got to tell you, as an alum of the University of Florida, I've never seen that look on his face. That is a look of complete bewilderment.
Barker with a beautiful punt. He's been really the highlight for the Redskins today. Galloway from inside the 20 has this sideline, makes a move, and continues out to midfield and beyond. So even special teams a problem for the Redskins. Barker forced him out of bounds. A 35-yard punt return by the veteran Joey Galloway. That look, it's the look, it's the look. A 7-6 Dallas lead. There's that look. Exasperation, 1 point. Opening minutes of the second half. And it's Hambrick who is indeed back in the lineup. He's fumbled twice today. And he picked up 8. What kind of a day has it been? It's been a mistake-filled day. It's been a day filled with big hits on the Washington quarterback. Washington player lost their helmet. Ronaldo Wynn on that play. And it's a first down carry for Hambrick.
And Larry Allen back in the game now for the Dallas Cowboys. So Flozell Adams, Larry Allen both in. That left side is going to be the focal point. Those are the two big studs that you always want to run behind.
And the other guy back in the game is Troy Hambrick.
Does that surprise you a little bit?
Well, it really does, because Bill Parcells is one of those coaches that will not tolerate fumbling. He'll pull him out of the game, but he's giving him another opportunity now.
But then the other question is, what are the options? Trying to win a game in the division. That's picked off. LeVar Arrington, 5th turnover of the day for the Cowboys. A lateral to Smoot, and it's Fred Smoot with Quincy Carter on the tackle. And the Washington sideline looking for a flag. It doesn't appear they'll get it. But great field position for the Redskins on yet another Dallas turnover.
You know, they want to keep going back to Quincy Carter, but they're running.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was not a catch. And we'll see if that is reviewed. And already Parcells has thrown the flag. This ball hit the turf. So instead of having the ball in midfield, it appears, as we looked at it, that the ball hit the ground. We'll check the replays while we take a break and come back and have the call. The ball back.
Yeah, and the Dallas offense, once they saw it on the big Jumbotron as well, they started running out here on the field.
Play, the pass was incomplete. The ball hit the ground. It'll be 2nd and 10. It'll be 2nd and 10. Please set the play clock to 10:36. 10:36. Dallas will not be charged with a timeout.
We'll take that, Brian Billick. That's why you have instant replay in the game. Brian Billick went crazy on a couple of calls this past weekend, but that is what it's supposed to be all about. The ones that everybody in the stadium, including the officials, know they got wrong. Once they look up to the big screen, that's why you have instant replay.
You know, and the calls were made right in that game last week with Baltimore.
Absolutely.
Brian Billick was wrong in suggesting that they should have been ruled touchdowns.
$15,000 worth of wrong. Yeah. 2nd down and 10 for the Dallas Cowboys. After that incompletion and what was initially ruled an interception by Arrington, then he lateraled to Smoot. Instead of having the ball at midfield, the Redskins are back on defense, trailing by 1. Penalty flag on the play. Glenn forced out of bounds by Smoot.
Yeah, they're still being really aggressive with their play calling, but I'm really surprised Bill Parcells isn't taking it and just pounding the ball at the Redskins. They haven't come close to stopping their running game yet, and they keep making all these mistakes in the passing game.
It's a motion call against the Dallas Cowboys. Possibly an illegal shift. They're trying to figure out if they want it or if they'll decline it.
At number 42, penalty is declined. 3rd down.
You know, one guy we've been picking on the Washington Redskins. One guy is Fred Smoot, who's out there. Suffered a fractured sternum, a bruised chest on October 12th. Missed the Redskins last game, then the bye week. But he challenged the coaching staff and the training staff and said, I am ready to play. I will play. And Arrington said, I never realized how valuable Fred Smoot was until we didn't have him. And he is out there today, to his credit, for the Redskins.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Joe, because he went down in the Tampa game late in the 3rd quarter. And when he came out, they scored a lot of points against the Redskins, and they do miss his leadership and his abilities.
3rd down and 8. The pass is caught by Bryant. 1st down. Part of that 3-headed monster for the Dallas Cowboys, the 3 wide receivers, Bryant, Galloway, and Glenn.
Yeah, and Antonio Bryant, I mean, this guy has got a lot of ability. Of course, he's working against Fred Smoot there, but they really like what this guy's capable of doing. And Bill Parcells has had to kind of keep his thumb on him ever since he took over as head coach, because he's kind of like a wild horse, and he's just trying to break him and get him to concentrate and focus and be the player that he's capable of being.
Negative 10 yards through the air for the Washington offense. Hambrick. First, making sure he hangs on to the ball, gets it to the 15, a gain of 4. Every play, Larry Allen has a tough time just getting up off the deck and back to the huddle.
You know, it's a lot like what happened last week against Tampa Bay. Larry Allen was struggling, and Bill Parcells sat him down, and he didn't come back in that game and played. I'm a little surprised that he is back. I mean, 80% of Larry Allen is better than 100% of most, but he is really struggling out there right now.
Second down and 6. Hambrick. It's down inside the 15, barely. Gain of maybe 1. And they'll bring up third down for the Cowboys.
You know, and the other thing amongst that offensive line is Gennaro DiNapoli was a guy who backed up at center, and they would rotate these guys with, you know, Matt Lair, and then Gennaro DiNapoli would alternate quarters. And so Matt Lair is also playing entire game for the first time this season.
But I've had head coaches before that have the power of putting their hands on you, and all of a sudden you're back out on the field. I mean, there are just certain guys, they don't want to hear about injuries.
Well, today it was Jerry Jones's hands.
Yeah.
Thinking of Forrest Gregg, are you?
Oh, yeah. Big hands.
Third down and 5. Out of the shotgun, Carter looked like he was going to run all the way. And he dives down for a Dallas first down. Brought down by Trotter after a gain of 6.
That's really a great job by Quincy Carter. He's really not a runner. I think a lot of people think of him as a running quarterback, but he really is a pocket guy. But when things open up, as you see here, and he knows what he has to get in order to get the first down, he does a good job of going after it and then getting it. That was a key first down pickup there.
What did he say? Parcells was telling, there goes Larry Allen again. Parcells was telling us, though, that Quincy reminded him of Jeff Hostetler.
Yeah.
And so he basically makes his game plans like he would for Jeff Hostetler.
First down and goal for the Cowboys. They hand to Hambrick. He's down to the goal line and evidently short of breaking the play. No signal yet. The officials get together, and it will be second and goal.
That gives you an idea of Troy Hambrick's strength once he gets through the line of scrimmage. His ability, he takes on the safety, Ifeanyi Olete, trying to come up and make the stop, which he does. He keeps him from getting in the end zone. But what a collision this is.
Quincy Carter acting like Brett Favre after handing the ball off. They said that Hambrick was brought down just shy of the goal line. This is Hambrick, and that is a touchdown. His second of the day.
Well, at least now the scoreboard is starting to reflect what we've seen all day. The Cowboys have outgained the Redskins 240 yards to 70 to this point, and now finally they have a lead to show for it.
To make it an 8-point game. So the Jerry Jones Cowboys lead Daniel Snyder's Redskins by 8. Kicks it away. On a hop, it's Johnson. Out to the 25 and beyond. LeVar Arrington had a shot on the Hambrick touchdown run. He, in fact, got up limping off the field after that play. Hambrick into the end zone, and now the Redskins have it down 8. Hambrick with both touchdowns today for the Dallas Cowboys, in this crowd climbs into it with Dallas up by 8. The banged up Patrick Ramsey under center. The ball at the 27. Quick setup and throw. That's Lavernius Coles. Trying to do all he can. Good effort by Coles as he is to the sideline and forced out with a first down by Mario Edwards.
Well, I tell you what, that was a great block by Brian Johnson, the fullback, coming out there. He got there just in the nick of time. Just as Coles makes this catch, watch number 47 come and knock Dexter Coakley right off the play and allow Coles to make some moves and do his thing.
Well, Steve Spurrier said that he had been NFLized going into this game, and he was going to try to get it more downfield. He has been NFLized again. Reeling it back in. The ball in the arms of Cartwright, who's been busy in this second half. A nice gain of 5. Short passes. That's the story here in Dallas. Let's check in for a game break with JB.
Well, long passes on this drive here for Philadelphia. 2 of 2 by McNabb for 64 yards. But it was Deuce Staley with the 4-yard run to put the Eagles up by 2013. Hey, Joe, Howie Long wanted me to tell Chris Collinsworth, not caution tape. Tell them they need the Skins crime tape.
Second down and 5 as you look at the NFC East with the Cowboys up on top at 5 and 2. It's second down. Short throw. That's Johnson, the fullback. And you can tell a difference in the game plan and the game calling, the play calling from the first half, which was atrocious by the Redskins, to what they're doing now.
Well, I think when you look at it and you go back to even what they did at the beginning of the year, I was impressed with the way that they were committed to being able to run the football in order to preserve the win in a lot of those games. And if you go back over the last 4 games where they've not been as effective offensively, they've played some awfully good defensive teams. It's not about proving a system works. It's about finding a way to win football games.
Here's Ramsey changing it up with the play clock down to 4, 3, 2.
Oh, boy.
And they don't get the play away.
Oh, boy. You know.
Before the ball was snapped, we had delay a game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Chris, remember, whatever you say right now, Howie's listening back in Los Angeles.
You know, this is just not a game of audibles. It really isn't. In the National Football League, and you're in a stadium on the road, you have to call plays that are basically secure, that you can get the ball out quickly. There are hot reads. You can't come in here and make late audibles, and this team has been trying to do this all year, and it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, we saw them try to do the same thing. Here they are again. Do this in Philadelphia, where they had more trouble, and now with a play clock at 1, they just get this one away. And the pass incomplete, broken up by Edwards, with Coles the intended receiver.
I just think they put too much on this young man's shoulders in order to come up and make calls at the line of scrimmage. I know for a fact it is very difficult to play quarterback in the National Football League at a high level. And as much as you can take off the quarterback's shoulders, particularly a young quarterback, the better chance he has to be successful. When he's audibling on the road trying to make calls, as we've seen the clock run down, it gives him less time to see what it is that the defense is doing. I think they're setting Patrick Ramsey up for failure by the way that they're utilizing this kid.
Dump off to McCollum, and what a play. Tackle made at the 45, Singleton.
Troy, the other thing is, and you know this as well as I do, that in the NFL, maybe in college, you can look pre-snap read and know what the defense is going to be. Pre-snap read in the NFL means almost nothing. So now you've got a second-year quarterback who's up there thinking he's reading the defense, thinking he knows what the Dallas Cowboys are going to do, making an audible that is only going to be right probably at best 50% of the time.
3rd and 13. Blitz. Off his back foot. There's nobody there.
He's got no chance, Joe. He's got no chance. He can barely get up. He's getting hit every time he drops back. I tell you what, if I'm Daniel Snyder or if I'm Steve Spurrier and you've got the investment in this young man that they have, I'd put 9 guys in there to block if I had to.
Well, it's Williams who ends up hitting his safety partner, Woodson, in the back. And it's Woodson who is down and getting attention from the training staff.
Well, now they know how they feel when they hit Ramsey out there. You know, they're starting to keep each other off. But again, you've got Rock Cartwright going to the left. The safety's coming off the corner on the right. You've got people out of position. More so now than ever, you've got to try and do some things to try and get him protected. I mean, here these guys are just going to come right off the corner over here. Cartwright's going to go this way. There's nobody can possibly pick up a guy out going that way. Samuels doesn't get his guy. Samuel's supposed to slide out and get the guy to his left. Cartwright gets the guy to his side. It's just a three-ring circus right now.
And I think in order to, it's easy to sit up here and you talk about why aren't they picking this and why aren't they picking that up and why aren't they protecting Patrick Ramsey. As we see, Darren Woodson looks like he's going to be okay. But to me, it just looks like a group that does not spend a lot of time during the course of the week preparing for what they're going to see on Sunday. It just does not seem to be a cohesive group, passing things off, seeing blitzes, and they're not picking up blitzes that are really pretty elementary in this league.
Well, they brought in Joe Bugle, who is kind of a hero around the Redskins organization for the job he did coaching the offensive line for Joe Gibbs. And all he really gave as a report were fundamental techniques, which might be an indictment anyway. As Galloway makes a fair catch, and they'll mark it just inside the 10. So the talk of these two teams, Redskins and Cowboys, under 3:40 to play in the third quarter. It's still only an 8-point game. Big reason why the 4 turnovers by the Dallas Cowboys, who start with it inside their own 10. This is Adrian Morrell. No gain on the play. Bailey on the tackle. A tale of 2 coaches coming into this one. Everybody talking about the job that Bill Parcells has done with the Dallas Cowboys. Has him at 5-2 atop the NFC East. And everybody is on the case of Steve Spurrier. The offense today, the passing game in particular, has been a disappointment for the Redskins. It's 2nd down and 10. Quincy Carter fires, and Glenn incomplete. Out of bounds with 3:01 left in the third quarter.
I'll tell you what has been impressive today, though, has been the play of the Dallas Cowboys on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they really now, with Terrence Newman back there, cornerback, they can play the man coverage that they couldn't play a season ago. Mario Edwards doing a good job on the other side, but we're seeing the Cowboys being much more aggressive under Bill Parcells, and I think a big reason why is that guy right there. Well, that's another one, Roy Williams, but Terrence Newman as well. That man-to-man capability is something they couldn't do last year.
3rd down and 10. Carter's going to run. Field wide open in front of him. Slides with a first down.
And the reason there was so much room for Quincy Carter to run, again, they caught the Redskins in man-to-man coverage. And anytime you get that, there's nobody accounted for the quarterback. You watch, they're in 2-man, and all these people are going to run with the wide receivers. And Quincy Carter, all he has to do is get past that defensive line. And once that happens, there's a lot of room there for him to run.
You used to love that, didn't you? What, running? All that room to run.
Did you ever have it run that far?
I used to hate when they gave me running lanes.
1st down and 10 for the Cowboys. This handoff to Morrell. And he loses his helmet. Brought down inches shy of the 25, a gain of 3.
You know, Chris, you talked about the Cowboys defense, and really, I mean, I know that the Cowboys have got some yards against this group, but the Redskins defense has done a pretty good job too. I mean, they've been responsible for creating some of those turnovers, and they've been able to keep the Cowboys out of the end zone for the most part, kept the score down. As bad as their offense has been playing, this defense has allowed them to at least stay in the game.
You know, they've been very cautious on defense. We're not seeing the man coverage out of the Redskins we typically see. They're waiting for the Cowboys to make a mistake on the offensive side too. 2nd
down and 7. Play action out of the backfield. Morrell makes a move and has a first down. Got around Terrell and picked up a fresh set of downs. Tonight on Fox, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, King of the Hill. The Simpsons, their Halloween special. Malcolm in the Middle and Arrested Development.
Is that the one Brad Pitt's supposed to be on?
The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, he is. And Arrested Development is one that's been hailed by critics as they open up their season. Right now, it's the Cowboys trying to move to 6-2. Under a minute to play in the third quarter, and Morrell has been the featured back on this drive, picked up 1.
Yeah, we saw Morrell earlier this year in the preseason against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had a great game. He really did. But I'm just amazed that a guy that's been out of football and been away from the game can come back in just a week's time and have this kind of contribution to the game.
I'm told that Brad Pitt is on King of the Hill.
There we go. All right. We'll watch them all.
Just snuggle in your bed back at the hotel here in Dallas. You can listen for the voice of Brad Pitt.
I'll do it.
2nd down and 9. Blitz coming. Bryant with a catch. Won't go down. And falls forward very near another Dallas first down. What an effort by Bryant.
And it looks like Fred Smoot is on the ground. He was the one in coverage, and when he came up to make the collision, it looked like he made contact right there in the sternum area where he's been injured and came in with the fractured sternum and his missed ball games, but right there with the shoulder and sternum area.
4th quarter coming up after this from your local Fox station. Yard to go. Leading by 8. Smoot is on the sideline. And we're looking for his replacement. Short yardage defense in for the Washington Redskins. And the Cowboys are going to throw. They put it up. It's Campbell. It's a first down. Still working the sideline, and he is forced out at the 36.
And not a lot of times will you see a quarterback run the naked and come out to his left. And the reason for that is if you get pressure fast, it's hard to get your shoulders turned and get the ball out quickly. Quincy Carter comes out, does a great job of retreating and giving himself a little more time to get the ball out to Dan Campbell. Just a great athletic play by Quincy Carter, and then a pretty good move by Dan Campbell to stay in bounds along the sideline.
I tell you what else that is. That's a guy that studies the game. You know, all that extra time that Quincy Carter has been putting in now starting to pay off. He knew where the guy was that could get to him quickly, backed up and made the play.
Blitz coming, and it's Morrell on the handoff with LeVar Arrington coming on the blitz. He got there a little too late.
I was interested talking to LeVar Arrington last night, and the changes that have been made at the head coaching position since he's been with the Redskins. He's had 4 different head coaches during his 4 years, and it's something very different for him. Jack McCurry was his high school coach at North Hills in Pittsburgh. He's been there 25 years. He goes to Penn State. Of course, Joe Paterno, a pillar of the coaching ranks and stability at that school, and he just hasn't had that at that head coaching position here with Washington, and it's been frustrating for him.
And as we mentioned at the defensive coordinator position, this is Glenn, and that's Bailey, who almost got in front. Champ Bailey almost came away with a miraculous interception, and then Bowen on the deflection almost got it.
You know, Champ Bailey has been playing hurt all year as well with the bad wrist, the bad shoulder. But watch the remarkable play. I mean, there just is no way for him to get over the top of the shoulder, not interfere, and make that play. I mean, that guy, to me, is one of the greatest athletes playing in the NFL right now.
Well, and not only is he banged up and he comes out and plays each week, but he doesn't even miss any time practicing. He's out there each day during the week with his teammates on the practice field, and just a real warrior. And not only is he a great cover guy, but he also gets involved in the running game, and he'll come up and hit a running back that gets in his area.
You know, at Georgia, the guy almost never came off the field. He had 547 plays on defense at Georgia, 301 on offense, 109 on special teams. So the idea of playing with pain and staying out on the field is nothing foreign to him.
Terrell comes in to take his place in the lineup. Smoot is back in on 3rd down and 8. Bailey rejected a 9-year, $55 million contract offer in August. Third down opportunity here for the Washington defense. The pass is caught. And it's a first down for the Cowboys as Antonio Bryant comes down with it.
Every time on 3rd down and medium, about 5 or 6, look how deep they are right here. I don't know if that has to do with the fact that Fred has the bad chest and he doesn't want to get into a jam, bump, and run. But this is the same way they've been picking up these first downs all day. When you get 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, that's a slant. I mean, in the NFL these days, they're going to run a slant, especially if you're playing off that far.
Yeah, especially with the Dallas Cowboys. That's a real staple for this passing game for them.
First down at the 25. 21 first downs today, and Morrell is swallowed up in the backfield. back in the 30. Loss of 5. Smoot again, slow to get up.
Yeah, and we talked about Champ Bailey and how he'll come up and make a tackle in the run game. And, you know, Fred Smoot, who is as banged up as anybody on the field right now, and still he's able to get in there and stick his chest in there and make a play. I think it says a lot for the fact that he's still out on the field even contributing.
You know, Troy, remember what Bill Parcells said to us yesterday, what they wanted to run at him. I mean, they know that he's hurting. And this game is not fair always, because when you know you have an injury, they're going to take advantage. And the way you take advantage of Fred Smoot is to run at him today.
Kason in the backfield on 2nd down and 15. And they hand it to him. Avion Kason with a head of steam. Gets it down inside the 20. 4 yards shy of a first down.
You know, and that's just a great call right there by Bill Parcells. 2nd and long. You're going to get down in here, not try to do anything foolish. Of course, now you get into a manageable 3rd down situation. But Bill Parcells understands that with an 8-point lead, a field goal right here at this point in the game is very, very important.
4 yards shy of a first down. The ball is at the 19. Drive is swallowed up over 7 minutes off the clock. Quincy Carter in trouble, unleashes it to Glenn. A catch, looking for the end zone, touchdown. Quincy Carter hanging in there with guys in his face making that throw.
Just fantastic play by Quincy Carter. They're going to be pressure right in his face. He's just going to jump past this thing out to Terry Glenn. Glenn with a little magic and making up for some of his earlier mistakes. But I tell you, it is so much fun for me, Troy, to watch Quincy Carter play. I mean, the amount of improvement this kid has made over the past couple of years is just simply remarkable.
21-6 is the Dallas lead. Quincy Carter throws his 8th touchdown pass of the season. He and Glenn had to work for it with a good block from Antonio Bryant. The Cowboys trying to open it up over their arch rival. About Quincy Carter rededicating himself. Bill Parcells riding him in training camp, riding him hard, putting it all on his shoulders. The extra time in the film room looking at game film. This is Johnson on the return. Loses the football and amazingly gets it right back. And you wonder if Quincy Carter would have made this play a year ago.
Can you read his lips? He just said big time play, big time play.
And it was. Cowboys up by 15. Go back to the touchdown throw to Glenn.
Yeah, you take a look at it. They're going to bring the corner blitz off the edge. And so as you see Quincy Carter throw it, the throw is a little behind, and it forces Terry Glenn to stop. And because of that, it turns him back inside, and Matt Bowen's unable to make the play. Antonio Bryant also on the outside doing a great job on Champ Bailey, which gives him just enough space to get into the end zone.
Quick throw. Coles corralled immediately at the 35-yard line.
You know, one of the stories for the Washington Redskins, I think, is the fact that Lavernius Coles has become really a non-factor. His first 3 games of the year, all over 100 yards. He hasn't had as many as 62 yards since. And the great majority of the catches that he's making now are on that flanker screen. He's not catching anything down the field, Troy.
Well, and that goes back to the protection problems. They haven't been able to hold it to allow him to get down the field. His receptions haven't changed much over the course of those games. They've just not been able to get the ball to him down the field.
3rd down and 7. Johnson. What a run by Johnson. He's into Dallas territory. Patrick Johnson, who had a blocker in front of him, I believe it was Coles. Finally brought down by Woodson after a gain of 19, and there was a case with Ramsey changing it up at the line of scrimmage, and it worked.
Yeah, it was a case of getting the ball into one of your fastest guys' hands. I mean, you see here Patrick Johnson, there's not a lot there at the moment, but he's able to make a play, and it was really all on his own. I mean, he made 3 people miss in order to pick up that first down. Great individual effort by Johnson.
Now on first down, Ramsey has time down the sideline. Coles can't get to it. No penalty flag on the play. Covered by Newman, the rookie.
Terrence Newman was beat on that play. Coles had a step, and Newman grabbed his feet right at the last second. It was bang, bang as to whether or not that was pass interference.
I think one of the surprising things about Terrence Newman is that he's a rookie, and not many teams have really challenged him much. The Giants did in week 2. They had some success in the second half with Amani Toomer, but beyond the Giants, he has not gotten a lot of balls thrown at him when he's been locked up man-to-man.
They could have easily drawn a flag with that hand on the left hip of Coles. They didn't get it. And now a penalty flag comes in as McCullough runs to the right side. No gain. We'll check the marker. It's a hold against the Washington Redskins.
Holding on the offense, number 48. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Kevin Ware.
Kevin Ware right here at tight end. Of course, he was just signed and activated and just brought in to be a part of this, and he's learning on the run as well. I tell you, Steve Spurrier, who's been just exacerbated with the penalties and what's happened over the course of each and every game they've played in. Another game just like it today with the number of penalties in this game.
Byron Chamberlain, the free agent tight end they brought in, is inactive for today's game. That got Kevin Ware on the field. Now on second down over the middle, it's Cartwright. And Rock to the 49 of the Dallas Cowboys. Third and long coming up after a gain of 8. Win on the tackle.
You know, Dat Wynn played so well against the Bucs. Another good day today. It's amazing that this guy is even in America. Do you know the story on him? Parents from South Vietnam. They got attacked from North Vietnam. His parents, his family tried to escape on a boat. They were fired upon. Had to spend like 6 weeks at sea. Somehow ended up making it to America. Now he's playing in the National Football League.
5'11", 243-pound middle linebacker. Third down and 12. That pass is tipped. And it was Woodson who got his hand up and knocked it down. So the Cowboys brought everybody, and now with it being fourth down, 4th and 12, and 7:56 remaining. First, Steve Spurrier said to go for it. And now we'll see if they stay with that.
No, you can't. I mean, this is still a 2-touchdown game. It's 4th down and 12. You punt the football away, let your defense make a stand.
Now they're going to burn a timeout because of the indecision.
First he said go for it. Then it looked like he changed his mind, and now the Redskins have to use their first timeout. Well, after the timeout, Steve Spurrier has sent the offense back onto the field. 3 out of 4 on 4th down, but this is 4th and 12, and it's a 15-point game. The Redskins defense has played reasonably well, and instead of trying to pin the Cowboys back near their own end zone and play field position, they go for it all here.
Yeah, and the Cowboys look like they're going to show man-to-man. Looks like they may be coming after him here.
I would.
Well, they're all coming. Ramsey off his back foot. Not even close. Lavernius Coles was the closest to it. And with everybody coming on a blitz, turning it over on downs are the Washington Redskins.
Well, that's just a give-up play right there. I mean, Patrick Ramsey just has to throw it up in the air. He thinks Lavernius is going to stay straight. On the go route, Lavernius breaks it to the post. Just, I don't understand the logic behind that one.
Well, I know what Spurrier's upset about. When you get blitz coverage and there's no safety in the middle of the field, you hang it up down the middle of the field, and Patrick basically threw it like it was a go route back to the outside. But it doesn't excuse the decision. The decision's wrong.
From midfield, it's first down, and it's handbrake. Cowboys will try to eat some clock on this drive. Under 7:45 to go. Let's check in with JB on another game break.
Well, Joe, this is what it looks like when it's executed well. Matt Hasselbeck with the first touchdown of the game in this contest here, hooking up with Darrell Jackson. Seattle goes on to win a 23-16 and improve to 6-2. And Joe Buck, let me tell you, Chris knows this is painful to watch what you guys are doing. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB. So 6-2 for the Seahawks. St. Louis getting pounded at San Francisco. And Seattle beat St. Louis earlier in the year. Carter fires. This is the fullback, Martin. Jamar makes the catch. He's knocked down and dragged down at the 44.
Yeah, and I think if you look at Quincy and what he's done, we talked about the game that he's having, and he's got 1 touchdown on the day and 2 interceptions. And at the end of the game, I think you're going to go back, which is the case most of the time when you look at Quincy Carter's statistics and you say, well, he really didn't have that big of an impact in the game. But as we saw today, the guy makes plays, and he gives his receivers opportunities to make plays and score points. And those are things that don't show up in the box score at the end of a ball game. But he's done a lot to help this team get off to the start that they have.
3rd down and 3. Blitz coming from the Redskins. The pass is caught. Sliding catch, but shy of a 1st down is Glenn. Bowen on the stop. And we've seen that look on the face of Steve Spurrier as he and Patrick Ramsey had the discussion after the 4th and 12. Go for it. And the throw. And it was really Ramsey who had a similar look coming off the field when the Redskins had to burn a timeout, not ready for 4th down.
Well, 4th and 12, you're not going to convert too many times, and whether they're in blitz coverage, man-to-man on the outside, one-on-one, and you're throwing it up, I mean, the chances of completing that pass aren't real good.
You know, but really, if you're going to have a chance to convert 4th and 12 or 14 or whatever it was in that situation, it's not a bad opportunity against blitz coverage with the post. It just, nothing is synced up for this thing.
I would agree. I just don't think Steve Spurrier should be over there acting like it's Ramsey's fault that they didn't convert it.
Timeout called for by the Cowboys.
I'll buy that.
Marry me tuna. The tuna is a fox. Bill Parcells with a big fan here in Dallas.
Let's put that on his highlight reel.
It's 4th down, and the Cowboys are going to go for it.
Maybe.
Trying to draw the Redskins offside.
Well, they had him there for a minute if he would have snapped the ball.
Now the play clock is expired.
I was going to say that was really...
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
That was un-Parcell-like. He is a man of field position, and especially with the way that his defense is kicking the dog out of the Redskins offense, why you wouldn't punt them and let those guys play for the last 5:36, I don't know. That was much more like Parcells to now line up your punter.
Well, he's talking to Matt Lair there. They jumped off sides, and he expected the ball to be snapped. As soon as they jump off sides, boom, you hike the ball. I mean, that's what he didn't do.
Patrick Johnson on the return. Brought down immediately by Hunter. Sounded like Madden there for a second. Boom, he snapped the ball.
That's a compliment, isn't it?
It is, okay. Absolutely.
All right.
Here is our day in Dallas.
Keep using that boom. You're going to get a lot of chances here.
Your diary. Here's what we saw at Texas Stadium. Boom. Boom.
You got to put a little something in it. Boom.
He's been doing baseball. They do silent booms in baseball. They're going to be a loud boom in Washington tomorrow, though. This has been not good.
Coming off a bye week.
Not good.
I don't know how much of a restful week that bye week was for this team.
43 yards passing. The last time the Redskins had under 50 yards passing was 1980. Trying to add to those numbers underneath. The pass is caught. This is McCullough. And Suton, as an official goes down, and Ramsey grabs his hand. Glover got pressure on Patrick Ramsey. Now he gets up holding the ring finger on his left hand.
Hey, he's shaking his head. He's done. He's done. I mean, you can tell he knows that there's something seriously wrong with that left hand.
I tell you what, if I had a towel that I could throw in the ring at this point for this kid, I'd throw it from here.
He's doing everything he can, and he's not getting much protection at all. And it's the left hand. It looked like the ring finger.
You know, and the other thing that I'm not seeing, Joe, is I'm not seeing any of these offensive linemen going back and even helping him off the ground. I mean, I know that when I would get knocked down and sacked, those guys feel bad about that. They come up and they help you, and there's nobody even going back there to see if the guy's all right.
But it only happened once every 3 weeks to you, so they could do that. With these guys, they'd be exhausted picking him up every play.
Well, they'd have been getting a little workout getting back there to him, wouldn't they? I mean, I'll be honest, that is surprising to me that there's not been guys back there even checking on him to see if he's okay. Normally an offensive line, they take great pride in protecting their quarterback. They haven't done a very good job today.
Now Tim Hasselbeck will come off the bench. He's been with 3 NFL teams but has never thrown a regular season pass. And now what looked like an inevitability, the way this game started, and Patrick Ramsey again getting knocked around, is going to happen with a guy making his NFL regular season debut and a guy who has been with his Washington team a total of 11 days.
Well, I tell you what, to go back to Patrick Ramsey, if I was him, I'd be upset right now. I'd be upset with the way the whole thing has been handled and the beating that he's been allowed to take.
It's 2nd down and 3. Empty backfield. Welcome to the game, Tim Hasselbeck. Starts with a throw, and he hits Johnson. Pass complete for a 1st down, and Johnson tried to get a few extra. A gain of 6.
Yeah, normally you'd go into a no-huddle offense right here when you're down 15 points in the 4th quarter with less than 5 minutes to play. But, you know, you can't. This kid can't know the no-huddle offense.
Why not? Just drop back and sling it. Why not?
He can't even call a play.
Yeah, that's all right. They haven't been working that well anyway.
Hasselbeck fires, and the pass is caught by Gardner.
I'm telling you, this is pretty good. We're back in the schoolyard now. Just drop back and wing it to somebody. What the heck?
So Hasselbeck, who we last saw with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, they're helping Hasselbeck. They're getting him all straightened up with his shoulder pads and his jersey.
Fresh meat.
They know they don't have anybody if he goes down.
Look at San Francisco with a 30-10 victory over St. Louis.
Troy, they're worried they're going to have to go play quarterback. That's why they're helping him up.
This one is thrown out of the reach of Coles and nearly into the arms of Terrence Newman.
You know, it's not that Tim Hasselbeck can't play. Certainly he can. His brother Matt is the quarterback in Seattle, and his dad Don was a player in the National Football League.
Hard to believe, but Patrick Ramsey's back in the game.
Second down and 10.
This guy just keeps coming back for more, doesn't he?
Back in there, lining up in the shotgun. Again, he gets hit, wrestled down. Pass is incomplete for Taylor Jacobs.
Tell you what, that one was there. They had a chance for a big play. Taylor Jacobs, a young man out of the University of Florida, really hasn't done a whole lot in his first year, and clearly that's a tough catch. There's no question about it. I thought Ramsey, if he had led him down the field, had a chance for a touchdown. But again, a play you can make. I mean, that's not an impossible catch.
It's now 3rd down and 10. .326 left. 15-point Dallas lead. McCollum. They're going to mark him down right at midfield. And another 4th down play coming up, 4th and 7.
McCullough, a young man that out of Southern California, led USC in rushing 3 straight years, but don't forget now they're on their 4th tailback as well. And so it's not like it's all easy out there for the Washington Redskins. Pretty banged up.
Ramsey fires, has Johnson. Perfect throw and catch. Finally had time to make a throw, and boy, did he. Put it right in the arms of Patrick Johnson down to the 19.
Really was a nice job of Patrick Ramsey hanging in the pocket, getting some time, and that's the weakness in this cover 2 zone, right there on the sideline, in behind the corner, in behind Mario Edwards, and Patrick Johnson gets in there, and Patrick Ramsey leads him perfectly.
Tell you what, Patrick Johnson is a guy that can fly. He once beat Carl Lewis in a sprint. So this is a guy that does present that deep threat to push him down the field, and he's made some nice plays out here today.
2:37 left, first down for Washington.
To say Redskins can make things real interesting here if they're able to get a score on this drive.
Snap was low. Ramsey is drilled, throws, and it is caught for a touchdown. Jacobs. Taylor Jacobs gets his first in the NFL. And I mean, Ramsey got plowed at the end of that play.
Just great courage by Patrick Ramsey hanging in the pocket. Roy Williams is going to come on the blitz. Again, they've shown this over and over, and he takes it right in the ribs and just throws a perfect pass.
But, Troy, this is what you have to do if you're the Washington Redskins. You have to make people pay for blitzing you all the time. And this is one of the first times in weeks that we've seen them burn the blitz with a big play down the field. When you blitz, you have to play man coverage, and you have to win those battles down the field.
And I'll tell you what, that was a great adjustment on the ball by Taylor Jacobs. He thought it was going to be to his inside. Patrick let him over his outside shoulder, and he adjusted and made the play.
Trying to make it a 7-point game. Going for 2. The pass is caught by McCants. It's a 7-point game.
I tell you what, Joe, I didn't like the call going for 2 in that situation. If they fail to make the 2-point conversion there, then it's still a 2-possession game. They're able, however, to make the conversion and now cut it to 7, but a real risky call by Steve Spurrier.
I couldn't believe he got this throw in there.
What a tremendous showing today by Patrick Ramsey. A guy who has been hit since he got off the team bus this morning. He has been taking whacks. He injured his left forearm. He injured his left wrist. He's been bothered by a bruise to the back of his throwing hand. Been bothered by a hip problem. He had to leave the last game for the Washington Redskins when they were playing at Buffalo. And after having to leave after another big hit in this one, he came back to lead the Redskins down the field, and with 2.5 minutes to go and 2 timeouts remaining, 7-point game.
And now comes the question, do you go for the onside kick? You have 2 timeouts remaining. You have the 2-minute warning, so still plenty of time if you can hold them to a 3 and out, but you have to hold them to 3 and out. And my guess is, I think in this situation I would kick it deep. I would take my chances.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. With 2 timeouts and still with the 2-minute warning that will stop the clock, whether you onside kick it or not, if you don't get the ball, you got to stop them. Therefore, I would kick it off and just depend on your defense. And the defense really, for the most part today, has done a pretty good job.
So Philadelphia won. They're now 5-3, winning at Atlanta. The Giants won. They're back to even at 4-4. That's where the Redskins are trying to go. Dallas trying to stay on top of the NFC East. They're 5-2 at the start of the day, leading by 7. And the Cowboys are expecting the onside kick. They do have Case on deep, but he is only standing at the 27.
They could kick it over his head and let it bounce around and really pin him back.
And the kick is deep.
Not out of the end zone. Oh, I hate that.
So through the back of the end zone, and with 2.5 minutes left, the Cowboys will start with it from their own 20. Following football tonight on Fox, King of the Hill, The Simpsons, little double dose, Malcolm in the Middle, and Arrested Development.
What did you hate about that, Chris?
I just think at that point you could kick it high and deep, make that guy run 25 yards back to the goal line. Okay. Maybe it's going to bounce around. You might pin him back inside the 10.
You're a little riled right now.
Well, you know, I get into football. I should apologize to everybody.
There's no need for an apology.
I like it. I mean, they had a great chance. The defender was up. I mean, the returner was up to the 30-yard line. Drop it in behind them. You never know what could happen.
You never know. From their own 20. On the ground, no surprise, it's hamstring. He's fumbled twice in this game, and the Redskins will use a timeout. Remember where they had to use their first timeout? On a 4th and 12, they had their offense on the field. Then it looked like they changed their mind on the sideline. Then they called timeout, and then they still went back with the offense on the field, and they failed to convert on 4th and 12. So that was a total waste of a timeout.
That's a great point, Joe. Absolutely it was. And when you get into games like this, 7-point games with under 3 minutes to play, and when you're trying to stop the clock and stop the opponent, timeouts are extremely valuable. And then you look back to those situations where you did waste one like they did.
You know, there are just so many times with this Washington Redskins offense that they flash what you think Steve Spurrier's offense is supposed to be about. They did that on one drive against the Buffalo Bills in their last game, where they just boom, 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 everything's working. They go right down the field and they score a touchdown to Gardner. In this game, on that drive, it's like boom, boom, yeah, okay, that's what it's supposed to look like out there. And yet the consistency just has not been there for the past month.
We saw the same in Philadelphia with the Redskins coming within a 2-point conversion of tying the Eagles. Morrell now in the backfield, and they reverse it. This is Glenn looking for a big first down. Now down the sideline with loftier ambitions. Glenn covers up as he was about to get drilled by Arrington. Good play by Glenn, and with a ball at the 29, that may seal it.
That will seal it, Joe, and you're right. It was a great job by Terry Glenn, understanding the situation, knowing he didn't have to score, and protecting the football and going down when he knew he was going to get hit.
Quincy Carter with a big block on the play, and the Dallas Cowboys may wrap it up with that play by Terry Glenn.
To the SBC post-game show, and folks, we'll keep you updated with all the scores from around the league running across the top of your screen. But we will turn to our guys to get thoughts on the day, starting with the coach.
Well, you know, so much talk on Donovan McNabb having injuries and really struggling here the last couple of weeks. He goes 21 for 33 for 312 yards. Now, this was against Atlanta's defense, and so it'll be interesting to see if he can continue this pace the next couple of weeks.
Well, he's still shown a great deal of mental toughness, in particular, along with physical toughness. We found out that not only has he had thumb problems, but he's had foot problems. And you look at Tampa Bay now 3 losses at home. Carolina had an opportunity to extend their lead in that division against a bad Houston team, did not take advantage of it. Tim beat up that it benefits the 49ers not to put him back in the lineup.
And your answer?
I'm asking you.
Well, you're the one I ask you. No, I know, but I don't keep that.
It's all about. It's all about. You told us last week. This is about me, guys.
I did not say.
You were going like this in Pittsburgh.
I will say this: I've got to throw a lot of love out to Arizona. And our good friend Dave McGinnis, who year in and year out continues.
How does that answer the 49er question?
I didn't answer it. You figure it out and come back and
I think they go with Tim Rattay.
HP Digital Imaging Technology helps the National Gallery in London save the world's masterpieces. HP. Invent.
A 21-14 Dallas lead with 2 minutes left.
How brilliant was that play call, though, by Bill Parcells and company over there? I mean, you're talking about the last thing in the world you would have expected in that moment.
It was pretty brilliant since it works.
Yeah.
Hambrick gets it and gets it down to the 21. Let's go back to that 47-yard run by Terry Glenn. Steve Spurrier on the right talking to Sutan McCullough, talking about the upcoming offensive series, and then he's alerted to the fact that Terry Glenn is in the open field and trying to seal it for the Dallas Cowboys. And then, Chris.
Yeah, there comes a certain point in the game where it's time to put the old cap back on your marker.
47 yards from Terry Glenn.
Nothing left to draw up at this point.
So with a timeout called by the Redskins, they are out of timeouts. We look at early game headliners. Peyton Manning and the day he had against the Miami Dolphins. They get another victory. Brandon Short 14 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, a sack as the Giants ended up on top of the Jets in overtime. And Ray Lewis, 14 tackles, a forced fumble. And is anybody paying attention to the Baltimore Ravens?
What a great game by Peyton Manning, going there to Miami, and a place where he had struggled in previous years, and coming away with a big win for that team.
Baltimore now 5-3, leading the AFC North. This is Jamar Martin. The fullback is ahead for a first down. Hambrick today, 21 carries, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 fumbles, but Bill Parcells stayed with him. And Hambrick rewards Parcells with a 100-yard day. It wasn't pretty today, but these fans in that Dallas sideline starts to celebrate their 6th win of the season.
Well, I know Bill Parcells is happy about this win. It was one that he felt that they really needed to get. But they got a tough road coming up. They've still got Carolina here in Dallas. They've got Miami. They've got a lot of games left to prove what kind of team they're going to have.
But let's stop and think back to where this team was before Parcells got here. The idea that they'd be sitting at 6-2 at the halfway point, there's no way. There wouldn't even have been any odds on that in Vegas. It was such a long shot. And Bill Parcells has just done one of the truly remarkable jobs of coaching that we've seen in this league in many, many years.
The upcoming schedule for the Cowboys, and you see the home portion of it. Buffalo, Carolina, Miami. 3 of the next 4 are here in Dallas, then a trip to Philadelphia. And with half a minute to go, we'll tell you that today's game is being produced by Richie Zients, directed by Artie Kempner. Steve Horn assisting us here in the booth. Their editorial consultant, technical producer Matt Benedict, the technical director Rich Basili, and the audio mixer is Fred Aldis. There's the final snap of the day. Associate directors Greg Scopatoni and Derek Manning. Broadcast associates Judy Wong and Jeremy Green. Special thanks today John Pigeon, Don Cornelli, and Michael Tatamir. Video to Gene Michael and Fred Medeiros. Truck engineers Andy Beerbaum, Doug Buchanan, and Scott Rothenberg, and David Waite. As Steve Spurrier makes his way across the field, this was the first meeting ever between Steve Spurrier and Bill Parcells. Will there be another? 21-14. Dallas ends up on top. They lead the NFC East now with a record of 6-2. We'll come back and wrap up our day at Texas Stadium after this.
GMC Sierra Extended Cab with more standard V8 horsepower than the new Ford F-150. Try as they might, they still can't catch us. Professional grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to. Sierra is the only full-size pickup available with OnStar.
So where do you suppose he was going? I think he's sitting at home and he says to himself, today's the day. Today I go for a little ride.
See, this just makes my day.
And that just made my day.
Picture mail that talks from Sprint. Now at Sprint stores, get great deals on a wide selection of PCS Vision picture phones starting at $99.99. Share it when it happens.
A teapot, toy robot, some gadget they have not got. Toolkit, oven mitt, a pink polka dotted dress you hope fits. Goldfish in a bowl and a new fishing pole. Oh, and a doll that says goo for your little niece Sue. Grand total, $300. The perfect present for one and all, for ones who are big and ones who are small. Priceless. Use your MasterCard and you can win a trip to Universal Orlando.
Catch an encore presentation of the season premiere of 24, followed by an all-new episode. 2 full hours of 24. Fox Tuesday.
Welcome back to Dallas. My personal thanks to Dave Schwabe and Ed Svita assisting us here in the booth, spotting and with statistics. Our UPS leaderboard brought to you by UPS. See what Brown can do for you. Quincy Carter had a solid, if not spectacular day. 196 yards through the air, a touchdown, 2 picks. Hambrick 100 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns but 2 fumbles. And Terry Glenn with another touchdown, his 5th of the season. Now Wachovia presents today's Uncommon Perspective here at Texas Stadium. And a look from just above with the reverse that sealed the game. The 47-yard run by Terry Glenn. And this Uncommon Perspective brought to you by Wachovia. Together we can achieve uncommon results. So the Dallas Cowboys will stay atop the NFC East. They beat the Washington Redskins. 6-2. That's the Cowboys record as they head out of this stadium after a win by 7 over Washington. SBC postgame show coming up. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy, it's all yours.
It's the SBC postgame show, brought to you by SBC.
Tonight on Fox, it's the all-new Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Then Malcolm's Family hits Vegas with David Cassidy. Plus, it's the premiere of Arrested Development, the Showtime magazine calls best new sitcom. It all starts next. King of the Hill season premiere right here on Fox Laugh Out Loud Sunday. As we welcome you back to the SBC postgame show for all the scores, they will be running across the top of the screen. Jimmy, Howie said it best earlier. There should have been a crime scene tape put around Patrick Ramsey of Washington.
I mean, you actually feel sorry for the quarterbacks, you know, for the Washington Redskins, because they just get hit time after time after time. You know, one time he's holding his forearm, next time he's holding his finger, next time he's holding his leg, you know, and they're just running out of quarterbacks. They've got to come up with some kind of protection for these quarterbacks. And you look at the Cowboys, you know, they're 6-2, you know, 1 game ahead of Philadelphia, and you don't know if they're that good or if the others in the division are just that bad. You know, Philadelphia had their struggles early. They're starting to come on strong. And the Giants flop around on occasion. And then, I mean, you just don't know if the Cowboys are as good as what 6-2 is.
I know.
What do you
But
know?
you tell me.
They are good. The Cowboys are good. They have now proven that they are not, you know, an upper echelon, but they're sitting right there below it.
They're beating
developing.
the teams they should beat, I guess.
Yeah, beating Washington says that they're good.
No, that doesn't say anything.
Right, and coming off of last week's
you know,
loss
I
to
think
Tampa
coming
Bay.
off the Tampa Bay loss, and I think the way their offense was manhandled, I think they were one-dimensional down there. They couldn't run the football. They ran the football against Washington. Quincy Carter made some nice throws, made some nice adjustments. Terry Glenn had a great second half after struggling in the first half. Who are the good teams? We think it's Carolina one week. Now all of a sudden New Orleans.
They could be by Houston.
Who wants to play New Orleans?
Right.
And I'll tell you, with Dallas' schedule right now, the last part of the season, we're going to find out how good they are. They're going to be playing some good teams. And Philadelphia, a decimated Philadelphia, keeps finding a way to win.
But they barely beat Atlanta.
It's a win, Jimmy.
And where do you not say
Atlanta's
that
terrible.
maybe the Dallas Cowboys are to be feared a little bit? Not so much who they're playing.
They don't beat themselves.
Obviously, this debate will continue for quite some time.
That's why you are
throughout
one
the
of the
season. The bottom line is Dallas won. Prime time is coming up next, and we will see you next week.
Fox Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League. The NFL is online at www.nfl.com.
Teams, you know what? Can we say something?
Dom Capers.
Dom Capers knows what he's doing.
Yeah, solid running game, no turnovers today. You know, he's going to mix in some pass, getting what he got out of Tony Banks. We have to go back and remember how Tony Banks has played in the past.
Yep.
You know, he has that ability to get his team to focus on the game. And there, of all those teams in that lower echelon, this is the best of those teams.
Well, he's done okay in the second year of the expansion team.
That's
They're
right.
not going to get to the championship game like they did with Carolina. But he beat Carolina. This time we've now lost 2 or 3. An impressive win for Houston. When we return, Tampa Bay, it's an even week. What would that mean? They played the Saints, their nemesis. And could it actually be the Bengals and Cards both coming in hot to the same game at the same time? We'll show it to you.
ESPN HD. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today.
Right. I'll see you in Dallas.
Going away on business?
Yeah?
Then stay someplace that has everything you need to succeed in any business. I mean, music, movies, handmade.
Whatever business you're in, Courtyard has what you need to be successful.
Are you okay? I'm good. Jolly good.
At Courtyard, earn double Marriott Rewards points when you pay with Visa through January 31st.
How's my form? Oh, sweetie, you really got to get that Bernie Williams CD. It is smooth.
Dude, the Bucks have a bye this week. You have to flip to your backup fantasy quarterback.
Y'all like grits? 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 Grits?
Wake up with us. Try a little cold pizza, the new morning show, 7 a.m. on ESPN2. Sports, lifestyle, news, whatever. Cold Pizza. It's a morning show with everything. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2.
The all-new 2004 XJ from Jaguar.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
World champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers John Gruden squad with a shutout last week over Dallas. They're playing the Saints, who beat them twice last year, partly due to the running of Deuce McAllister. 6 straight 100-yard games for Deuce McAllister, a franchise record. That was 37 yards in the first quarter. Brad Johnson was picked off in the second quarter. The next play, Aaron Brooks to the beer man. Bottoms up. Michael Lewis, touchdown, 38 yards, 7-0, the Saints. 4th and 1, third quarter. You know, they run for it. They're running early, Tom. It was a gamble that could have backfired.
Absolutely. You just want to control the football game at that point and let your defense play. And then Brooks trying to encourage the offense to play better.
But it doesn't. Willie Whitehead sacks Brad Johnson. Forces the fumble. The Saints recover, Tom.
Yeah, and watch D. Brooks. No linebacker ever been any better at finding the football and having a great set of hands than Derrick Brooks. And again, you're going to see him constantly during the day. He was encouraging the offense to come out and play.
Johnson throws a wobbler, and it's Ashley all the way to Tara. Ashley Ambrose, 73 yards. This is just a few plays after he had an interception called back on a penalty. And so that's his second pick of the day anyway. 14-0 with the score. 14-7. John Carney going to try to salt it away, but 39-yard field goal, no good. So Derrick Brooks says, hey, we just need a score. Let's go. And interesting, he talks to Keenan McCardell. 4th and 10 Bucks. Last gasp, just before the 2-minute warning. Talk about good pass. How about that one from Johnson to McCardell? And we're tied, Tom. And now, Aaron Brooks, how will he do on 3rd and 1? Bottoms up again to the beer man. Michael Lewis. Aaron Brooks looks so good and then so not good. I mean, it goes back and forth, Tom. And meanwhile, John Cotty, Audrey Meadows, Sheila McCrae. Good night, everybody. It's John Carney with a field goal, 47 yards. But wait a minute. Tampa, it's not good night. Whoop! It's whoop! With no time left on the clock, it's whoop! Now Johnson, whoop! Now we're going backwards, but now let's move forward, and then to the 30th, it's whoop! And then we still have the clock in our favor, then whoop! And it's that's it. They tried it. I don't know if
it looked like fun.
It looked like a lot of fun. Not so fun if you're a Buck fan for the result, as the Saints beat the Bucks 17-14, and what? They beat him twice last year. They beat him this year. And Tampa just looks like a different team every other week.
Exact same formula. Tampa Bay did not run the ball. The New Orleans Saints did. And the defending world champions have yet to win consecutive games this year. Inconsistency.
Tom, 6 turnovers today for almost 2 picks. The good news for them, as we look at this, in the odd games, the Bucs games 1, 3, 5, and 7, they won them all. The even games, they've lost them all. They play the Saints in their 13th game on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th. They'll have a shot.
Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Visa. If you love the NFL, it's everywhere you want to be.
And now from the ridiculous to the sublime. Bengals, Cardinals. The Bengals favored on the road for the first time in 3 years. You can set your watch to it. They won at Cleveland in 2000. John Kitna, Chad Johnson. How about this grab of 41 yards?
That's a great grab over the shoulder and knowing where he was with his feet. Great job getting the feet in bounds.
And Kitna, Peter Warrick, and early second quarter, the Bengals are leading on the road 14-7. Now let's go 14-10, third quarter. Marcel Ship. How good is he? Look at him. Wooden ship from Massachusetts. There you go. Coached by Mark Whipple.
And did most of his damage in between the tackles, Boom. They're going to be rethinking the Emmitt Smith move if he continues to run like this.
Yeah, he over 100 yards rushing again for Ship. Meanwhile, like to Anquan Bolden near the goal line. Does he break the plane before losing the ball? Yeah, he does. Yes, he does. They looked at it. It's a touchdown. Cardinals 17-14. Dexter Jackson, one of the Bucs heroes in the Super Bowl, is a Cardinal hero on this day, picking off John Kitna and sealing the fate of the Cincinnati Bengals, who are trying to get to 500. They're not often at 500 in early November. They're much better, and you know what? The Cardinals have now won a couple in a row, and the Cards win by the count of 17-14. When we return, Peyton Manning